Good evening, everybody! Welcome to the biggest day of the year for ISO. It's our annual Indianapolis 500 time trials. I am Jason White. I'll be our play-by-play announcer for this event. The big day has finally arrived. And I say the big day because historically, this event actually brings more viewers than our 500-mile race the following week. I guess everybody loves the fact they get 5 minutes of TV time. I'm joined in the booth by one of the people who makes this event go as smoothly as it does every single year, Juha boss. Juha, good evening.
Good evening, Jason.
How you doing?
Good. Just getting some final laps of practice in.
Yeah, I was getting my laps in earlier. Just trying to get a little bit loose and ready to go. It's hard to do that when you're broadcasting it at the same time, but I'm sure that we'll figure it out.
Well, we do every year. We'll make it work.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, this is going to be the 71st Indianapolis 500 that we're preparing for. Time trials. We do our traditional 4-lap time trials every year, the same way that it was done, and still is done actually in IndyCar racing. They still do the 4-lap time trials at IMS, and this is easily one of the biggest marquee events we have in the year. The time trials are, but of course the 500 is as well, because 500-mile races, Juha, they have a very interesting kind of character. They're like endurance races, but in a way they're kind of like sprint races too. It's like you drive within yourself to take care of the car, and before you know it, it's halfway, and then suddenly that second half of the race just goes like a house on fire. Have you had similar feelings when you run the 500-mile race?
It is. There's always something to do. It never gets boring. You're always. Well, it's probably more to do with the nature of the track, especially this one. Mm-hmm. The longest break you have is on the straight, which lasts about 15 seconds or something.
Yeah, possibly. Anyway, so we're getting ready for time trials now, and it'll be coming up in roughly a half an hour from now. Let's give you an idea of what you can expect coming up here. First of all, the track map. Here's the track map. No big surprise. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard. It's called an oval, but really it's more of a rounded off rectangle. Each qualifying run will consist of an out lap, and that's the lap that the driver takes the track, followed by 4 timed laps, 10 miles. And you're supposed to drive this as fast as you possibly can. The fastest 33 will start the race. Now, we actually have less than 33 signed up to run. So that creates an interesting dynamic, Juha, one that might be really interesting to see. What I mean is, since everyone knows that they'll be starting the race, that there's no bumping that's going to happen, we may have some people really go for broke and push really hard, knowing that if something goes wrong, they're still going to be in the race. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was thinking the same. There's no reason to hold back now. You know you'll make it. Okay, you might be a bit further down the grid if you want to, but just the biggest threat is gone. Mm-hmm. Just go for it.
Yeah. So we may see some people really on edge here. The times in practice have also been very interesting. We might see a stock block on the pole, which would be not without precedent, because stock blocks have tended to spring surprises in Indianapolis over the years. So anyway, here is a quick look at the time trial schedule. Have a look and see where your favorite driver is there. We'll be starting at 19:05 CEST, which is a little less than a half an hour from now. And drivers are on track now getting ready for their times, but it's the same as it is in real life. When you're called to the course, you're supposed to go, and all eyes are on you, so the pressure is really, really high. And that's what we're trying to do, is create an immersive experience. This track in particular has proven difficult for some people. In particular, it's hard for some to get 4 really consistent laps in. This is a very tricky track this time around, vis-a-vis these cars. So something to keep in mind, absolutely, as we're watching the time trials. Do you think that there's an advantage to going early and just getting it done, or do you think that it's not a good thing to be late in the order and watch everybody else go and just have the tension build?
I prefer to go early personally. I think the track may be a bit cooler, which can definitely help. And otherwise, just sitting there for 40 minutes or something. So I'd rather be among the early ones.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. Just get it out of the way. Get the car on the grid and in the show. Although now it's like it's more critical than ever to be in a good spot. I'm not going to go out there and just like go for broke and like, you know, if something goes wrong, I'm not going to panic because I'm like, all right, fine, we got time at the end because we have 29 people signed up, not 33 or more. So if you make a mistake, there is time. But if everybody starts to drive that way, it could get really serious towards the end. We might run out of time anyway with the way that things are scheduled. But we'll see how that goes. This race, or the time trials and the race, were sanctioned historically by the United States Auto Club, not kart. But this race does count in the kart championship. So let's have a look here at the points in the PPG IndyCar World Series right now. Anders Nilsson is on top right now with 69 points. John Thiem is in second with 58. Grant Rodal and Nicholas Kirsten are tied for third with 54 points, and Brian Janik enters the top 5 representing Detroit, Michigan with 47 points. The reason I bring up the kart points in particular for this is because someone today is going to get 1 point for getting the pole position. You know, the interesting thing is I learned this only recently. In the 1991 500, on time trials day, Rick Mears captured the pole because he was the fastest car on day 1 of time trials, and you know how they had the thing where they stagger the days? Yes. So you could be faster the following day, but you're not going to be on the pole. The fastest driver the second day was Gary Bettenhausen, and he ended up actually setting the fastest 4-lap qualifying average of the month. And so, you know, he was not on the pole for the Indy 500, but according to kart rules, if it had been a kart event, he would have gotten the 1 point for the pole position. And if you look at the record, it shows that Gary has 1 point in the kart series because he was the fastest car. If it had been a kart event, he would have been on the pole. So I thought that was rather interesting. They gave him the point for the pole, even though Rick Mears got it via the USAC rules, or the IMS rules. Anyway, let's take a look back at the history of this event as we've run it. Past winners and pole sitters over the last, good grief, it's insane. I was looking, the first time we ran the 73 mod Juha with Mike Becknell on the pole. That was back in the HSO days. With Mike Becknell on pole, I think he was in an Eagle, and then the race was won by Richard Coxon in the McLaren. That was 10 years ago this year. Can you believe that?
I'm starting to think if that was my first one.
2015. That's 10 years ago when Coxon won in Johnny Rutherford's McLaren. It was the first 73 mod that we ran for the 500. Then we ran another one, and you can see there the years that we ran the race and the mod year that we won. Last year, the race was won by Anders Nilsson driving the Norton Spirit, and his teammate Richard Coxon was on the pole in the score Gary Bettenhausen McLaren. But this time we're running 1987 again. This will make the 3rd time we've run the 1987 mod. So the last time we ran it was in 2023. Brian Janik was on the pole, and then Jakob Fredriksson scored that fantastic win in the stock block Buick March 87C, and he's in the same car this time around. So he's looking to dupe that feat. So we'll see if he can do that. It'll be really interesting. Sadly, we have no silver cup that we can engrave our faces on, but this is the list of combined HSO and ISO results over the years. Let's take a look briefly at some of the vehicles that are entered here. Chassis entered first of all, and thanks to Juha for putting together this information for us. There are 18 March 87 Cs, and you see one on the screen there. That's Pancho Carter's. So it's the most popular chassis by far. Lola T87 is next with 6, and then we have 5 March 86 Cs. Engines in here. We have the venerable Cosworth DFX, which stretches its lineage all the way back to 1975. It's a very old engine by this time. And the upstart, very powerful Ilmor Chevy 265A. There's 5 of those, not many. And then we've got 2 Brabham Hondas, which later on would be known as the Judd engine. And then we have 2 stock block Buicks, one driven by Jakob Fredriksson and the other by Ian Mills. Ian has been posting incredible times, and he's a heavy favorite for the pole, although there have been some incredible times put in by Tiago, and he's running just a very simple March 87C Cosworth. So he's got a setup that looks like it's going to work out really well for him today, hopefully for him. Chassis and engine combinations. The most popular chassis and engine combo is the March 87C Cosworth. There's 12 of those. Lola T87 Cosworth, there's 5. There's 3 March 86C Cosworths, and then you have 2 apiece for March 87C Ilmor, March 87C Buick, March 86C Ilmor, and then you have the 2 Brabham Hondas, which are March 87Cs, and then the lone Lola T87 Ilmor, which is my car. Multi-car teams in this time trials event today. The Penske team and Hemmelgarn Racing are tied with 3 entries apiece. And these are the entries of actual people that are running. AJ Foyt Enterprises is, let's see, two entries. Everybody else on this list is 2 entries. AJ Foyt Enterprises, Dick Simon Racing, Gallus Racing, Machinist Union Racing, and then Patrick Racing. So that gives you an idea of how things are broken up. Let's go out on the track now and see if we can find someone to run with for a bit, and just get an idea of the track. Here we are running with, I believe this is Simone Gilardini. I probably totally mangled his name. I'll have an easier time with names once the actual graphics are up on the screen when we're running time trials. But let's run with Simone here for a minute. He's one of the AJ Foyt entries, one of 2. You're the other one, Juha.
Yep.
He's driving number 41. So here he comes now through the 4th turn, sweeping down towards the line. You want to really charge off of here as best you can. Now coming down the main straightaway. You see the grandstands at the end, the grandstands on the right. It looks like you're turning into a dark alley. Oh, we had a bit of a delay there because someone joined the server. Turning left now into turn 1, out to the south chute, and then back down into turn 2. Those are the luxury suites on the upper right there. And now you charge up the back straightaway. I say up because you're heading north at this point. And the real challenge here is you have no real landmarks to tell you when to turn into turn 3. So you got to be really careful about that. Heading to the north chute, slipping out to the wall, and now back down again to the double line. You see the pit entrance on the left coming off of the 4th turn, and we're back on the front straight. That's about 42, 43 second laps here as we go into turn 1 again. Simone has a very good dip down into the corner. Oh, but the back end's coming loose. Oh no, 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 no. Goodness. See, that's the problem that you have here. You're running on a knife edge. You're trying to get the car to rotate into the corner really, really well. And there's a fine line between having a car that rotates perfectly and is too loose or too tight. He's trying to find his gears here, but he's getting back going again down the back straightaway in that red painted Foyt entry. We're used to seeing orange entries from Foyt. This is a red one. Yours is black with the coyote orange, I believe, for the actual... Yes. For the qualifying itself. Oh, there he goes again. See there, he actually caught the apron. So that's unfortunate because if you even sniff the apron here, you got to get out of it immediately. And he's putting lots of...
Yeah, I see lots of car parts around there.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's you. And we got another one losing it into the 4th turn. That was David Saber. Tearing the back end off of his car. So, yeah, I don't know. This could be an action-packed time trials for all the wrong reasons. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting. See if there's somebody else we can ride with a bit here. There you are. Oh, let's ride on board with Juha, because Juha really knows this track well. Heading through turn number 3, slipping out to the outside wall in the north chute.
You're not going to have much out of me because I need to pit because I've got no fuel left.
All right, well, then we'll go to somebody else here. Let's see. Somebody who's completing lap. Okay, here comes Schlapinski. He is driving a March 87C with a Brabham Honda engine, so it has a very different note than what we're used to hearing from the Cosworth of the Chevy. He goes into turn 1, dips down, very nice, out to the south chute. Now through turn number 2, mashing the throttle, I'm sure. Past the luxury suites, heading up the back straightaway is Schlapinski in the number 11. Yeah, the car that would have been driven by Jeff McPherson. Actually, he's missing a front wing. I don't know if he's aware of that. That's going to cause his car to push a great deal, and even so, he's still completing laps at a really decent clip. The oil temperature thing that you see just above the wheel there, it won't be visible for us. But that's something that March 87C drivers have that they really like. Especially for 500-mile races, because you have to watch the oil temperature very closely. That display is right up there, right in front of you. So you know what the oil temperature is, and that's a very critical piece of information if you're going to go 500 miles on this track. If you go over the oil temperature, you might as well kiss the engine goodbye if you do that too much. But I can't believe this. Even without that front wing, Schlapinski is completing some very quick laps here. Coming off of that turn, he's doing a good job of sliding out to the wall and giving the car, letting the car run free, as it were, unlimbering it as it comes off the corner. Into turn 1 now, into the south chute. Now into turn number 2, another car joining the server. This is one thing we're not going to have to worry about during qualifying because we will lock the server during qualifying. But Schlapinski making this Brabham Honda look very fast. Allegedly, the Brabham Honda, or Judd engine as it was later called, is better on fuel economy. That won't help Cesarius in the qualifying session. Oops, he just touched the wall there, and that's going to be the end of that run. Oh, he's pulling a Kevin Kogan here in 1989. Yeah, he actually did. He did pull a Kevin Kogan because he came into the... watch this. He comes off the 4th turn, hits the wall on the outside, heads to the inside, spins around. Well, not quite a Kevin Kogan. He hits with the front, then he hits the pit attenuator. So that's about as close to a Kevin Kogan 1989 accident as you can get. And we can joke about it because Kevin walked away from that accident. If you haven't actually seen that crash, the 89 crash of Kevin Kogan at the 500, I encourage you to go find it on YouTube because it's miraculous. The car splits in half upon impact with the inside retaining wall. He hits the pit wall attenuator, parts and pieces everywhere. The engine is bouncing along next to him, and then he just gets out of the car like nothing happened. It's incredible. All right, so let's see what we got here. We got about 9 minutes until the top of the hour, and then we got 5 more minutes there. Let's see if I have anything else I can go through here. Oh, well, of course, coming up next week, it's the event that everybody has been making so many preparations for, and it's amazing how quick it's over when it actually happens, starts and finishes. It's the 71st Indianapolis 500-mile race. Round 6 of 15 for the kart series, of course. Sunday, May 11th, the green flag will be at 1900 CEST, and that is because it's a 500-mile race, and asking people in Europe to stay up that late is a bit much. So we started an hour earlier. I believe we'll be doing the same thing with the Marlboro 500 and the Schaefer 500 later on. Or sorry, not the Schaefer 500. It's called the Quaker State 500 in the 80s edition. I've got lots and lots and lots of trivia questions lined up here. I'll give you one of them just to mull over as we're getting ready here for time trials. First trivia question for everyone to ponder. Which Indy 500 driver was pitted by the Wood brothers of NASCAR? Is it A, Graham Hill, B, Jim Clark, or is it C, Jackie Stewart? We'll have the answer at our first break when we open the server. another thing too, we have an archival film that we'll show during the admin break, Legends of the Brickyard, narrated by the voice of the Indy 500, Paul Page, and gives you basically the story of the 500 from that particular year. Watching little Al here in his number 7 Marlboro March. This is one of the cars that is powered by a Chevrolet engine. It has a very crisp sound to it, like a buzzsaw as it comes through the first turn. He's looking pretty good overall, Juha. It's pretty smooth.
I think that's the car I had 2 years ago.
It is. It is.
Very, very good.
Now, the other thing
I think I was in the top 5 with it, so it's pretty good.
Well, the other thing about these cars, the Marches versus the Lola, there's a lot more Marches than Lolas. The March tends to be a bit pointier of a car. It'll go where you want it to go a little bit easier than the Lola will. At least that's my understanding. The Lola, I picked the Lola to drive this year on purpose for a couple of reasons. One, I had already driven the March in the 87 mod, so I'm like, well, why do I want to repeat things? I want to try something different, just because I can. And two, the other reason is because the Lola generally is aerodynamically very pure. I believe it was designed by Nigel Bennett, and that would have been the last car he would have designed before he skipped town and went to Penske. The Lola itself, very slippery and tends to push a little bit naturally. So the theory that I have, at least, is that it'll be a calmer car for race day. It won't jump out at me all of a sudden or do something crazy if I'm not paying 100% attention. That's at least the theory. But again, this is a track that some people are able to produce really good times on, and others are having real difficulty being consistent. And I would also point out that just because someone's at the top of the timesheet on the forum doesn't necessarily mean they can put together that kind of a lap 4 times in a row. I would be really shocked if someone can put together a 42.7 4 laps in a row because the tires have to come up to temperature. Everybody here is on Goodyear tires. There's no tire war that's going on. So we're all shod with the same rubber, and there's no choice. The only real choices you have with the rubber, Juha, would be the stagger. I would imagine that March 87Cs and the more pointy cars can get by with 0.23 inches of stagger. I'm having to use 0.28 for my car because of the kind of the natural understeer that it has. So in any case, oh yeah, and also we have a situation where a driver is going to qualify a car for somebody else. This is Dave Miller on your screen now in the number 24 Leader Card Racing March 87C with a Cosworth engine. He is going to be qualifying this car for Oscar Team. So I suppose the real advantage here, Juha, would be that he's probably worked with the car for a bit and has something of a setup that he can provide to Oscar that would help him on race day. It's obviously, a quali set doesn't necessarily equate to a race set, but goodness, he has to dodge a bunch of tires there. But in any case, and there's another car. God, it's like a wrecking yard in turn 4 over there. But I'm sure that there's something that as Dave is getting ready for these time trials that he can relay back to Oscar. Of course, when Oscar takes over the car, it's going to go to the end of the line because that's the rule. If somebody else starts a car that's qualified, it has to go to last place. Although I believe last place in actual fact will be Anders Nilsson because he's signed up for qualifying, but he's not going to make it today, from what I understand, which is going to create a very, very dangerous situation on race day. You've got one of the fastest drivers in the series starting at the very back, and he's got all these slower cars in front of him. That's not a situation that I would like to be in, Juha.
No, but I think Anna's got enough patience and experience to make it.
No, I think he does, but he's going to have to be very careful because he's going to be surrounded by people that he may not... There's a bunch of people that are running the race this year that haven't run it last year, so he may not be familiar with some of these people, and he has to thread his way through. He's going to have to be very decisive in order to do that, because if he gets bottled up behind people, for too long, next thing you know, you're going a lap down. That's what happened to me last year. I started too deep in the pack, and I ended up getting into these boost wars with people going down the straight. I was trying to overtake, and I couldn't do it. I just got bottled up in midfield the whole way. So starting in the top 10 is going to be critical, because if you're a faster car and you're bottled in with a bunch of other cars, it's not really going to make a huge difference. If they can hold you back, there's no, they're not bound by any regulation to let you by simply because in theory you have a faster car. Up! And there you see just how dangerous that apron is. We saw just now Ray Radal just clip the two lines, and the car went out of control. So in a way, it's going to be like a game of limbo. How low can you go? Or how low do you dare to go on this track? So there's our first qualifier right now who's doing some laps, Nicholas Kirsten. And he's driving a garden variety. He's driving a Lola with a Cosworth engine. This is a kind of a bespoke Lola because it doesn't have a windscreen. It's painted over for some reason. But thankfully, you can still see the mirrors. It still is a clear field of view. But Nicholas has been very quick this year, not only in Indy cars, but also in DRM Division 2 in his BMWs. He's having a great year. And Nilsson's having a great year, too. They're both doing quite well in their respective series. Here's John Thiem, who's also been doing well in the kart series. He's getting up there in points, driving Michael Andretti's March 87C. If you had to pick someone for pole today, Juha, who would it be?
I'll go for the stock block with Ian driving it.
Really? You're gonna, because Thiago's did some pretty impressive laps as John Thiem comes into the pits here, just brings it to a halt.
Yeah, but I've raced against him last week. I put my money on Ian. Or was it 2 weeks ago? Sorry, at the Nürburgring. I think Ian will definitely be the one to watch.
Ian's an interesting situation, at least with his car, because it's sponsored by Living Well, which I assume is a health company of some kind, or some kind of health-related firm, and then it's also sponsored by Kentucky Fried Chicken at the same time.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
So I wonder to myself, what, that doesn't make much sense. You know what I mean? Those two sponsors on one car, it's kind of funny. Oh, and here's Jules Bouchard. We should point out that the Penske team is now free of their... Well, he just crashed. Oh, well. People trying to find the limit here. The Penske team are now free of their PC-16s, and they couldn't be happier, I would guess, because we didn't even make the PC-16 in real life. They tried to qualify here, and I think Sullivan actually put it on the grid, but it was so slow that they went and got their March 86C backup cars, and they pulled Sullivan's time, and he requalified much faster in a 86C year-old car. And here's the other one. This is the other March 86C, and it's powered by, even though it's a year-old chassis, it's powered by an Ilmor Chevrolet. So it'll still be a fast combination, I think. That's in the hands of Mikael Drexler in his bright yellow Pennzoil. Don't call it the Yellow Submarine. I get so aggravated when people call any Pennzoil-sponsored car a Yellow Submarine. I'm watching IndyCar coverage, of practice, going into the month of May, and then invariably somebody has to say, "There's Scott McLaughlin in the Yellow Submarine," and I'm just like banging my head against the wall. No, no, no! The Yellow Submarine was the Chaparral in 1980, driven by Johnny Rutherford. It was called the Yellow Submarine because not only was it yellow, it looked like a submarine. Its shape had a submarine feel to it. That's why it was called the Yellow Submarine. And people have somehow gotten it in their heads. Penske team and drivers included, that any Pennzoil-sponsored car is therefore a yellow submarine. And I'm like, I'm going back to, my mind goes back to my analogies that we had to make in high school. Like, you know, just because this is this doesn't mean all of these things is this. You know what I mean? That kind of logic. But we'll see how the Penske team is able to do. There is, of course, a third car, which is a March 86C powered by a Cosworth. That is a car driven by Simon Watman, and it's the car that actually won this race in real life. Oh, August, thank you. Yes, totally not the Yellow Submarine. I would just call it the Pennzoil Z7 Special. I mean, that's what it is, really, when you get down to it. So we got about a minute to go here before we start time trials. And I'll go back to the time trials chart for you so you can see what's going on here. The first car to go out, the first driver, will be Nicholas Kirsten in car number 1, the Budweiser Lola Cosworth. And then you have Jules Bouchard in the first of the Penske entries. Then David Saber in the STP-sponsored March.
STP is the racer's edge.
After Saber, then I get to go. Hopefully I won't make a fool of myself. Then we have Alberto Aquino, Little Al in the number 7 Marlboro car that we saw earlier. Then the car that we were just looking at, Drexler. Then Ray Radal. Ray swapped places with his son. Everybody starts out in the list via, you know, what number they are. That's how they're prioritized. Dana Schur is the last one on the list. She joined after we had closed up the list, so she has to start at the very back. But 29 drivers are answering the call today. We'll see what happens. It should be interesting. I believe we are going to. I just lost AMS, so I'm gonna have to we're gonna have to put the please stand by thing up here. I'm gonna be right back.
Yes,
Just a minute.
I lost it as well.
All right, so please stand by. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, so we've rectified the situation. We're ready to move forward. Juha, you can go ahead and move. Let's see, where's... Here we go. All right.
Just making sure I call the right driver.
We are with Nicholas Kirsten now, and when you hear the venerable Tom Carnegie, the late PA announcer from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, go, oh, here we go.
Your attention, please. The track is open for qualification.
And here we go. Qualifications are underway. Now we got to make sure that he doesn't go before the green light, and I think he's realized that. So he's stopping there just for a second, and once the green light is given, Nicholas will be on his way. Tension, excitement, and there he goes. So here we go for our first time trial. Our first driver hails from Germany. He's driving a Lola T87 powered by a Cosworth DFX engine. It is Nicholas Kirsten driving for True Sports. This is the car that was driven by Bobby Rahal in 1987. And it wasn't the greatest performance for Rahal. He DNF'd on lap 57, I believe. He had an issue with his car, but...
Well, he started second, but it went downhill after that.
yeah, he did start high up in the field. So here we go. Coming down now to start his qualifying run is Nicholas Kirsten. And he's on it. Nicholas Kirsten into turn number 1. Down to the apron. Now slides out to the south chute. Looks pretty good so far. Right down to the line. Ooh, he just touches it. I'll bet he felt that just a tiny bit. Heading down the back straightaway now is Nicholas Kirsten. Looks to be in good trim in that sleek Lola. Heads into turn number 3. Wheels right down near the line. Sweeps back out for the north chute. Now heading into turn number 4. And we'll see what the very first lap in time trials this year brings us. Charging off of turn 4 is Nicholas Kirsten. Coming down to the line. Crosses the line. The time and speed report. 43.724, 205.837 miles per hour. Start of the first run of the day by Nicholas Kirsten. That's a bit of a modest lap compared to some of the others we've seen, but his tires are probably not up to temperature yet, would they be, Juha?
Yeah, laps 2, 3, and 4 tend to be quicker, yes.
Yes. All right, here he comes through the north chute once again, sets up for turn 4. Has the car pointed really nicely, sweeps out towards the outside wall. Beautiful arc coming off the corner there. Heads now to the line to complete lap number 2, to start lap number 3. Time and speed report for lap number 2, 43.646. And the speed average 206.204 miles per hour. He is averaging to this point 206.020. On lap number 3 now. Charging down the back straightaway as Nicholas Kirsten. Into turn number 3. Out to the north chute wall. Now into turn number 4. Right down to the apron goes Nicholas Kirsten. Charging off turn 4. Heading for the start-finish line. You're on board with him right now. He hits the line. Time and speed report for lap number 3.
It's actually his slowest lap.
Yeah, it's his slowest lap. 43.797, 205.494 miles per hour. He's averaged to this point 205.844 miles per hour. He's on his final lap. Heading down the back straightaway.
Oh. I think he brushed the wall there.
He might have.
I wonder if he keeps it going. Oh, no, he keeps.
He elects to complete the run. Waving off is an option, but he takes that last lap, ends his run. Time and speed, it's a faster lap, 43.696, 205.969 miles per hour. His 4-lap average for that run, 205.875 miles per hour. And for the moment, he is the pole sitter, because he's the only car that's run so far. All right, the next car. Look at him burn out those tires, getting ready to go. Jules Bouchard from Canada. And he is driving for Penske Racing. In a
Danny Sullivan's car.
Danny Sullivan's car. The famous livery that he won in 1985 with, the Spin and Win livery. Miller American. I don't believe they sell a Miller American beer anymore. But in any case, not the Penske PC-16. This is a year-old March with the Chevrolet engine, and I'm sure that Jules was glad to see the back of the PC-16. Just not the right kind of car to do fast laps here. Not the right car to do fast laps anywhere, frankly. That's one of the neat things about Roger, though, as in real life, as Jules takes the green flag just now, starts in his run. Roger is not the kind of person who will stick with something that doesn't work, even if it's his own equipment. He did it in 1987 with the PC-16. He parked it because it wasn't working. He did it earlier in the 80s when he didn't like how his Penske chassis was performing, and he bought Marches then. So he's done that a number of times. He's not afraid of parking his own equipment. He doesn't see that as an ego hit. All he cares about is winning. However he has to go about doing that. If he doesn't have the right equipment, he'll go out and get it. Here comes Jules Bouchard off of turn number 4. Here comes the time and speed report for Jules. Completing lap 1, 44.838 to 100.723 miles per hour. Those of you who might be wondering, how do you know it? Well, it's a simple equation. Take the number 9,000 and divide it by the seconds of the lap, and you get the average speed for that lap. That's the basic formula for one lap. And 45 seconds is equal to 200 miles per hour. So 44.8, that's why it's just a little more than 200. Coming off of the fourth turn, he breathes the throttle a bit there. Coming off of the fourth turn. I don't think he's feeling too sure of himself in that car.
No, he looks quite slow. He's a second slower than Nicholas was.
44.588. That's 201. A little bit faster, but still pretty slow when you compare it to the rest of the vehicles that have been going through practice here over the last couple of weeks. His average to this point is 201.284 miles per hour, and he'll be slotting in second right now based on the performance that he has if he can just complete the next 2 laps. Well, lap and a quarter, I guess, because here he comes off the fourth turn, sweeps out to the wall.
Still be in the 44s.
Yep. Comes across the line. Here is his time and speed report, 44.399, his fastest lap yet, 202.707 miles per hour. The average to this point is 201.756. He's on his final lap. He's doing the best he can, I'm sure. It's just that is not a state-of-the-art March, and it probably isn't as grippy as the 87.
But maybe he's already been spending more time on the race setup rather than
that's possible.
Qualifying for a car which he knows is not going to end up on top.
That's possible. As he comes to the line, crosses it there. Lap 4 coming in at 44.479, 202.343 miles per hour. His average speed for the 4 laps, 201.902. He slots in second behind Nicholas Kirsten. So we've had 2 qualifiers so far.
Next up is David Saber.
Next up, David Saber, someone that's an integral cog to ISO, a person who's done a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm looking for his car. Oh, there he is.
Roberto Guerrero's car.
He's just moving now. I see him. There he goes.
A car which led in the final stage of the race before dropping to second.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. The story that, for those of you who haven't seen the race, Guerrero was doing excellent in the race, and after the demise of Mario Andretti, he was in the lead. What we didn't see on TV and happened when they were in commercial, I believe, a car had an accident. I think it was Tony Bettenhausen, and a wheel came loose, and Guerrero couldn't avoid it. He center punched the wheel with his nose, and it launched the wheel into the crowd, and unfortunately the wheel took the life of a spectator, which was really tragic, and nobody actually knew about it until after the race was over. In any event, that damaged the master cylinders in the front of the car and led to what we saw in the race at the end was the stalling in the pits that gave Al Sr. the win. So that's the backstory why they had. You saw, if you look at the tape, you'll notice as Dave has taken the green flag, you'll notice that they have tape all over the front of the nose just to hold it together, because apparently the pins that were supposed to hold the nose in place had been bent by the impact. Something to that effect, probably. So that's the unfortunate story behind Guerrero's 87 500. But if it weren't for that incident, he probably would have won that race. And here comes Guerrero now out of not Guerrero, David Saber pretending to be Guerrero in the guise of Roberto Guerrero. He comes down, he's going to complete one lap here. Let's see what this March 87C can do. 43.843. That's a 205.278 mile per hour lap. He heads into turn number 2. Sprints past the luxury suites. And you can see on the windscreen there, you can see it says Vince Granatelli Racing. Right down to the apron. That's a very good turn 3, although, whoa, the back end starts to come around. He had to get out of it a little bit there. Now into turn number 4. Heading south now down the front straightaway is David Saber. Let's have a look and see what this lap brings him. Crosses the line. Sets up for 1:44.008. A little bit slower.
Yeah, 3/10 slower.
Yeah, 204.508 miles per hour. The average so far 204.892. This would put him in second, and move Jules Bouchard to third place. This is the third qualifier. If you're just joining us, so far we've qualified Nicholas Kirsten at 205.875, and then next we had a 201.902 run by Jules Bouchard, and this is looking to be a second place run right now so far on the grid for David Sabers. He crosses the line to complete lap 3, 43.810, 205.433. It's a little better. The average to this point, 205.072. Yeah, drivers are having a little bit of difficulty getting to grips with this. I mean, how much do you think it's the car or the jitters or just the... I mean, I suppose it's a mix of all those things.
Well, I found my car to start being more difficult from lap 2 onwards.
Really?
Lap 1 is the easier one, and then just lap 2 and 3 doesn't work anymore.
Interesting. Well, here he comes off of the fourth turn now, and man, he's having trouble, or maybe he's just celebrating that it's over. 43.583, that's the best lap of the run. 206.503. His average, 205.428 miles per hour, and that will line him up second on the grid for the time being.
And then it's your turn.
Is the racer's edge.
All right, so I'm going to have to give me a second here to get out of my broadcast mode and into my driving mode. You will not hear any commentary here, but you will see me drive. So I'll go to the course. Am I cleared to go to the course?
Yes, I was just... Here we go.
Okay,
You can go.
I will. I'm going to mute. Sorry, there's a bunch of stuff I have to do here. Okay. So I'm going to switch over now to drive. Hopefully this will go well. Get this out of the way. Okay. Oh my goodness. Glad that's over. All right, so this
Lars
is,
already started his run in my old car.
yeah, this is little Al in the car that you ran last year, or last time we ran the 87 mod.
Yeah. I just had a look where I put that thing, but I put it in third apparently. You were fourth in the same car.
Yeah. Well, that was a very different set of circumstances, as here comes little Al to complete lap number 1. 43.958, and that's 204.741 miles per hour. That's good enough to be third at the moment. These cars are looking twitchy, Juha.
It does, and the times are
Yeah.
slower than I was expecting.
Yeah, I think we might see that as a trend going forward here. Drivers who were doing fast laps on the server doesn't necessarily mean that they can do them consistently, and so that we may see runs that are on the safe side as a result. Here he comes off of the final turn to complete lap number 2 of his qualifying run. Little Al, Alberto Aquino, 43.708, 205.912 miles per hour. His average at this point is 205.325. He's trending towards second on the grid.
Yes, he's just overtaken Saber. And this is Kevin Cogan's car.
Yes,
As
Kevin
mentioned
Kogan
earlier.
drove this car. In theory, it was a car that he could have been very successful in, but he didn't have much success in this car. In fact, in the race itself, I believe, he had an
DNF.
oil pump.
Yeah.
He had an oil pump fail in lap 21 in the real life. As little Al crosses the line, completes another lap, 43.780, 205.573. Sorry, I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
Yeah, but again, that's slower than lap 2.
So he's still trending for second. He's got
He
an
still is,
average.
right?
He's got an average of 205.408 miles per hour. So if he can keep this average up, he'll slot in second.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, not if he does that.
That's going to cost him some tenths there. Look at he's slithering off the fourth
Yeah,
turn here.
that's 2/10. Well, no, I'm not saying 2/10. But
What does he got?
43.798.
43.798, a little slower.
that-
That slots him in
Behind
third.
you.
He's third
Oh.
on the grid right behind me right now.
Yeah, and that might require a bit of maths because I've got 2 people in thirds with different average speeds. But bear with me while I sort that one out.
Okay, well, one thing I do want to point out while Juha's doing this, and I do it every year, Juha creates the sheets that you're looking at online. You can find them in the broadcast description, and you can find them on the forum in the time trials thread as well. But Juha makes sure that all of this stuff works impeccably well, and it's really his effort that makes this go as smoothly as it does. Without
yeah, sorry.
no, just saying, you should be, you should be applauded for that because it's a lot of extra work, and it really does make this a quality event. So we appreciate it a lot.
Yes, and I just found out why 2 people are ranked in third. They have the exact same average speed.
Oh wow! I wonder what we're going to do there. Interesting.
So over to you. What do the rules say?
I have no idea. I don't think we have a rule for that. We've never had this happen before. Interesting.
Yeah. Oops. Theoretically, I'd say the one who set the time first, but
Well, I suppose that's simple enough. We'll have to have a discussion about that after the fact, but that is a very improbable set of circumstances. This is why we have 3 decimal places.
Yeah, and still we like a decimal place, apparently.
Yeah, well, actually, modern-day IndyCar racing uses 4 decimal places. Maybe they ran into the same problem. This is Michael Drexler. He is driving for the Penske team in a March 86C powered by an Ilmor Chevrolet engine. As he comes off of the 4th turn, he'll be taking the green flag. Looks like he's having trouble keeping that thing going straight. I've noticed some people are having that issue. But in any case, here he goes into turn number 1.
I think this is, from a personal point of view, the nicest looking car on the grid.
It is. I mean, the Pennzoil livery always looks good on any car. I don't care if it's John Andretti's or Rick Mears or Johnny Rutherford. Whoever drives the or McLaughlin, anybody who drives the Pennzoil livery, it's an iconic livery. As Drexler comes through the 3rd turn now into the North Chute, heads into turn number 4, and we will see what the lap will bring him. First lap complete, crosses the line. 44.551, 202.016 miles per hour. That's trending towards 5th. We've had 5 cars qualified. He will be the 6th one if he can complete this run. Looking twitchy off of turn 2 there as he charges down the back straightaway in Roger Penske's backup March 86C. You can find photographs of the Penske PC16 from the month of May in practice, but that's about all you can find. There's no pictures of it in the race, no pictures of it in time trials. Well, maybe one lone shot with Sullivan. Lap 2 is complete for Michael Drexler. .943, that's slower. 200.254. He's averaging to this point 201.131, and that would line him up 6th. That's where he's trending right now. Let's go on board with him here. Have a look at what he's doing. The 86. Oh no! Oh goodness! He hit the wall. He went under the apron and under the lines, and that's what happens. Oh my goodness! He goes to the inside. Hits the inside wall for good measure. Michael Drexler will not be completing his first run. So that's the first crash that we've had in this session, and he will be moved to the end of the line. That's very unfortunate. Let's take a look at a replay of that, see what actually happened here. You can see it. He dove in for the corner, but just dove in a little too aggressively, and there it is. He touches the line, gets one wheel on the apron, and that's all she wrote for the Pennzoil Z7 Special, for now at least. So they're going to rush that car back to Gasoline Alley and get it repaired, or perhaps use the backup car if they have one. But that's the first incident we've had. I was predicting that we might see quite a few because of the twitchy nature of the circuit. But let's see. The next driver heading to the track should be Ray Riddle. Yeah, he starts this session where his son was originally slotted to start it, but they swapped. Apparently, this was a better time for Grant, or Grant. The time Grant won was a better time for him, or vice versa. So we have had 5 cars qualified, 6 attempts so far, and I believe Ray is heading the wrong way. Oh no, wait, he's heading the right way. Sorry, I was thinking of another version of this speedway. As here he comes now towards the pit lane, exiting Gasoline Alley, driving for the Dick Simon Racing Team. This is a Lola T87 powered by a Cosworth. It's similar to my car, but different power plant. The Cosworth has got that kind of raspy sound to it. That's the other reason I chose a Chevy. I didn't want to have to listen to this all race long.
If you crash early enough, you wouldn't have to listen to it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, hadn't thought about that.
No, probably not part of your plans, is it?
No. No, not part of the plans. I got to adjust the volume here. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, so Here comes Ray Riddall on his outlap. He's looking pretty good for an outlap. Looks pretty clean.
No, that's his first lap.
Oh, this is his first lap. All right.
And it looks like a decent one.
Yeah, it looks good. That must have been why it looked so good. It didn't look like an outlap.
.44.4. That's fifth.
Okay, 202.566 miles per hour as he charges up the back straightaway. Ray Riddall.
In Dick Simon's car.
Yeah, Dick Simon's car. Dick actually had a great race in 1987. He started 6th and finished 6th in the car.
I was age 53, so you can still do it at a relatively advanced age.
Yeah, he was in his 50s by then. So all right,
but so was AJ Foyt.
Yeah, comes across the line. Yeah, Foyt had an excellent finish in 1990. I think he finished 6th in 1990. Second time at speed report coming in.
He breaks into the 43s.
Okay, 43.894, 205.039 miles per hour. His average right now, that's quite a jump actually when you think about it. His average speed now is 203.795. So the question is, can he outdrive that first slow lap? Can he improve enough in the next two to offset that slow start? As Dick Simon comes charging down the straightaway into the turn. Well, Dick Simon in the guise of Ray Riddall. And let's see what that time and speed report says. 44.018, so slower. Not the slowest lap, but that's not helping his average. 204.462. The average to this point, 204.017 miles per hour for Ray Riddall. As he heads into turn number 3, sweeps up to the wall in the north chute. Man, the car's changing direction a lot on him there. That was pretty surprising. Off of the 4th turn, he's giving himself a berth from the wall there. He doesn't want to hit it. Coming down to complete the run. Crosses the line. Last lap comes in at 43.630, 206.
663.
Oh, 663. 206.124. His average, 204.540. So he is starting 5th currently. So the grid, as of right now, Nicholas Kirsten, Jules Bouchard. Oh wait, no, it's not actually organized by speed yet. So we'll check back later with that. But
yeah, I'll just organize it by speed. I'll for now put David Saber in third because that's that's quite an annoying problem.
All right, so Ray Riddall has qualified for the race. Got in a nice... that first lap cost him quite a lot, but the rest of them looked pretty good. All right, so next we have Cesarius Schlepinski, and he's already rolling towards the pit lane. And this is a Gallus Racing March 87C powered by the Brabham Honda engine, which again would later be called the Judd. This is an engine that is reputed to have good gas mileage or fuel mileage, not gas because we don't use gasoline. And of course, it's not going to help Schlepinski in this run necessarily, but maybe in race trim he'll have an advantage because Schlepinski can make anything go fast.
He's won this race.
Yes, he has won this race before. He won it in the 1978 mod, I believe, driving AJ Foyt's car. Yeah, in 2021. Coming out of turn number 4 now. He's letting that back end hang out. He's apparently quite comfortable with the car. Let's see what he can produce
look
here.
at that time. That's 2/10 quicker than your best lap.
43.079. 2:08.918. So absolutely, yeah, he is. This is a
this is a good one.
This is a run for the pole, although he probably won't stay there. But still, a very quick-looking run for Slipinski as he heads into turn 3. Now up to the north chute wall, heading into turn number 4. Cezarius Slipinski. Very nice arc. He's looking quick.
Yeah, and a minor improvement. Yeah, that car just looks good. A bit slower.
43, 123, 2:08.705. His average to this point is 2:08.812.
This car originally qualified 12th, but I think CC will put it slightly higher up the grid.
No, I think so. Oh, that's a hilarious anecdote from August. That's funny as hell. Okay, lap number 3 is complete now for Slipinski with his Brabham Honda behind him there.
His laps actually get slower.
43, 282, 2:07.939. His average is 2:08.520. He's still trending for the top spot.
Well, unless he does something very wrong, he'll be short of that provisionally. It looks very lively now, but
that's the end of the run for Slipinski. Lap number 4 comes in at it can't be that fast.
No, not that much. There we go.
43.311, 2:07.799, and that puts him on the provisional pole position. Is he aware his run is over?
He is, yes.
Okay.
His first lap was his quickest, and he went 1/10 slower each time.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the other way for some drivers. Some drivers get fast as they keep going, others get slower as they keep going. He just wants to complete one more lap because he can, I guess. So there's your provisional pole sitter right there, Cezarius Slipinski for Gallus Racing. Now we're going to...
we have which claimed Rookie of the Year.
Yes, that's true. Next car is Giovanni Centorami, and he is driving the car that was driven by Fabrizio Barbazza to 3rd place in the 1987 race. He was Rookie of the Year in that car. All right, so
I wonder if he picked it because it has an Italian flag on it.
Maybe. Who knows? But this is a good car. It's fast. Here he goes. He's leaving the Gasoline Alley now. For the Arciero Racing team, March 87C, powered by a Cosworth. So this is your garden variety car. It's there's plenty of these in the race itself as he leaves Gasoline Alley and goes on to the pit lane. This is a car that definitely is favored among most of the teams, most of the drivers. So we'll see what he's able to do. Giovanni Centorami, another driver who's quite quick. I was talking to August Watring about this last night. Just through text. We're lucky in this league that we have drivers of the caliber we do to put the standards so high. I'm talking about the Nilsons, the Kirstens, the Centoramis, the drivers that are really gifted and do a good job. They set a very high standard for everybody else to follow, and that's a good thing. Okay, coming off of the 4th turn, he'll be starting his qualifying run now. Giovanni Centorami, car number 12. And he's on his run now. Sweeps out to the north chute, or south chute, sorry, into turn number 2, past the luxury suites, heading up the back straightaway. Giovanni Centorami.
His first lap was a good one.
43.641, 206.228 miles per hour. That's good enough to slot in second on the grid. .433, 207.216 miles per hour. His average to this point is 206.721, and that's good enough for second at the moment. He heads into the third turn now, very close to the line, sweeping out to the north chute wall, and now heading for turn number 4. Sweeps off the turn, looking very good overall, very clean line. No histrionics involved here. He looks very stable compared to other cars. Third lap comes in at 43.327, and that's 207.723. He's averaging to this point 207.054 miles per hour. He's on his final lap. Looks like he had a bobble there going into turn 3. But he's going to bring this run to a close here. Coming off of the fourth turn, heading towards the start-finish line. Crosses the line. .43.601 for the last lap. 206.417 is the speed for lap number 4. The average, 206.894, and that slots him in second place behind Cezarius Ślepinski, who's your provisional pole sitter.
Yes, and now I'm trying to get out of my screen, and it doesn't seem to work.
Well, take your time.
Well, it's not about taking my time. It's rather annoying. Come on. Can you tell? No, you can't. Jesus, this is rather silly. Hmm. Now I'd like to get out.
What seems to be the issue?
The escape button on my keyboard not working.
Uh-oh. Could you use Windows and bring the app to the front?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Every other key is working, but not this one. Last. That's the last thing I need. Can you tell Michael to go to a track, please? Because I'm sorting my mess out.
All right. Let's see here.
See, I don't know if this message came through.
Are you going to have Drexler do another run?
Yeah, because he could do another run.
Yeah, we may as well do it while he's on the server.
Yeah.
That's going to screw up the timesheet, though, isn't it?
Make it work. Just...
All right. All right, I've told him, so we'll see what happens here.
Right. And the problem is I can't get out of the server before... Mm.
And this gives me my chance to use my telltales that I put together here. When you see the little yellow flash on the right there that just came on, for those of you watching, that means this is his second attempt. If it's the red flash that comes on, it means it's the final attempt. Dun, dun, dun. So Drexler's gotten the message, and he is heading for the track, leaving Gasoline Alley. And I'm sure this time he's going to be driving a little bit more within himself, just trying to make the field. If you have a crash, it kind of has a chilling effect, unless your name is Rick Mears, or somebody who's incredibly gifted. But here comes, not to say that Drexler isn't, but here comes Drexler onto the track. And this is going to be his second attempt to qualify for the 500 this year. If you missed it earlier, he had an accident in the North Chute. Came down, touched the line as he went into the third turn, and then all hell broke loose right about here. So he's going to be looking to avoid that this time. Comes off of turn number 4, kind of low coming off the turn, but coming down to take the green flag is Drexler for his second attempt at qualifying for the 500. Into turn number 1, goes down to the apron. He's kind of in the middle now. He's interesting line. Now he's down towards the line again, coming through turn 2. Bit of a conservative approach, but we'll see what it produces. He's got the benefit of those 25 extra horses behind him in the Ilmore Chevrolet. Coming down the front straightaway now, crosses the line, and we'll see what the first lap brings for Drexler in this run as he goes through the South Chute into turn number 2. Definitely keeping away from that line. 44.766, 201.045 miles per hour. He's not taking any risks on this run.
No.
Lap 2 complete. Heading into turn number 1. Still, he's fighting that wheel a little bit. He's not entirely comfortable. 44.592, a little bit faster. 201.830. His average at this point, 201.437. Loses a lot of speed going into turn 3 there. I think he missed the apex. Coming into turn 4 now, and my goodness, yeah, he's still having trouble with that car. It's not handling the way he would like. Some people have plenty of time to prepare for these time trials. Other people have almost no time because of real-life commitments. But that's the third lap complete for Michael Drexler.
I wonder if that actually is 4th lap and I missed the first one, or we missed the first one. Can you please check?
Let's see here. We might have missed the first one.
I think we missed the first one.
Okay. Well, we were bound to make a mistake at some point. Let's see. Drexler. Yeah. That was his 4th lap. First lap was 45.274.
45.274, thank you.
Second was 44.766.
Then 44.592 and 44.352.
Yes. And add that all up, and you get a 4-lap average of 201.135, and that slots him in 9th.
Yes. Okay, so we will now reopen the server for the next group of drivers.
All right. Well, are you going to do your run?
No, I'm not going to do mine because we run late.
Interesting. All right.
So I'll slot myself in whenever I see fit.
Okay. Oh, we don't want to do that. Sorry. All right. So we are in a holding pattern at the moment because we are having drivers come and go from the server. This is the first opening. The reason why we do this is because we don't want people coming on the server right in the middle of somebody doing a qualifying run. So let's have a look at the... Can we? Is there a chance we can see the provisional grid? Oh, it's not. It's not. No, I'll come back. That's fine. What we can do is give you the first trivia question, and I'm going to put that on the screen now. We talked about it earlier. First trivia question for the evening. We have 5 total. Which Indy 500 driver was pitted by the Wood brothers of NASCAR? Is it A, Graham Hill, B, Jim Clark, or is it C, Jackie Stewart? Time's up. What do you think, Juha?
I'll go for Graham Hill.
You're going to go for Graham Hill? Well, unfortunately, that is incorrect. The answer was Jim Clark, 1965. He was pitted by the Wood brothers and went on to win the race. So sorry about that. All right, so we've had our first session of qualifiers that have gone through, and it's been, I think the biggest story so far has been how slow things have been. Yeah, we do have the timing and scoring up now. So starting first, as of now, your provisional pole sitter is Cesarius Slipinski with a 4-lap average of 339 miles an hour, 208.339 miles an hour. In second, Giovanni Centorami, 206.894. Third, Nicholas Kirsten, 205.875. Yours truly slotting in fourth at 205.544. Fifth is David Saber, 205.428. And an equal time by Alberto Aquino, but we're going to go with whoever, the person who set the time first. I think that's only fair. It's the only thing that really makes sense, I guess. So Saber will start fifth with 205.428. Sixth will be Alberto Aquino, 205.428. Those are identical times down to the third decimal. Seventh is Ray Riddall, 204.540. Eighth is Jules Bouchard at 201.902. And then we have our ninth qualifier that you just saw, Mikael Drexler, at 201.135. So people are playing it pretty cautious, or maybe it's not so much that, Juha, it's just that they... The pressure's on, and you combine that with the tentative feel that you have for the track, and maybe it just is knocking a few tenths off everybody's time. Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe the track's warmer than they anticipated.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, this is where we talked about before. It's a situation where certain people wouldn't want to go too late because it puts the pressure on. It just keeps mounting. But on the other hand, you have lots of intel. Watching other people run, and you might make a change to your car that would benefit you based on what you're seeing. So, but
would you want to make a change without actually testing it?
That's true. You wouldn't want to really do that. I suppose you could do it offline and then come on when it's your time to do it. But that requires a certain bandwidth to the brain that I do not have access to. I am sorry to say. Anyway,
wait for next batch of drivers.
One thing I wanted to point out: if anybody wants to stop by the booth, if you're on Discord and you want to knock on the door and come in and hang out for a second, you're welcome to do that. Just to liven things up. We're trying to keep things loose and fun. So if anybody wants to do that, you're more than welcome to. But in any case, yeah, it's been an interesting time trials so far. Not quite the speed festival we expected right away, but we've got some other heavy hitters that are coming up, not the least of which later on, if I look at the schedule, the one that you're thinking about, Ian Mills, he comes along later at 2120 hours and 25 minutes. So, and he's got a car that can definitely sit in the pole. The other one that I'd be watching very closely coming up in this next group, Tiago Canola. He is very fast in his Hardee's March 87C. That's the car that was driven by Dwayne Poncho Carter in 1987.
Yes.
Yep.
We still need 2 drivers to join, so Ruben Fernandez and Brian Janik.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for them, here's the second trivia question for you to ponder. We'll give you the answer to it when we get to the admin break. Trivia question 2. Which driver won the fastest Indy 500 in history? Is it A, Joseph Newgarden, B, Tony Kanaan, or is it C, Helio Castroneves? We'll have the answer at the break right before we go into Legends of the Brickyard.
There's Ruben Fernandez, so now we just need Brian Janik to join us.
And then we'll be ready to go. All right. Oh, I believe I forgot to turn off my little flag there for the second attempt. Looks like half of a Dodge symbol. There it goes. It's gone. So the order, as we have it for the next round of cars, or next round of drivers, Ruben Fernandez, John Team, Ruben Fernandez, David Watman, Grant Riddall, Anders Nilsson, although Anders may not be here.
Anders is here.
Oh, really? Well, he was concerned he wouldn't make it. Dave Miller,
yes.
Simon Watman, Tiago Canola,
I
and Brian
do
Janik.
miss Brian Janik. Unless he shows up in the next minute, we will go.
I see how you were able to rearrange the thing so easily, because Wilkes didn't show for his slot, so he is
yes. So if Janik doesn't show, I can take his place.
True. Yeah. Well, where are we on the time? Are we basically at time now?
Yeah, we'll run a minute late, but
we should probably get going then. So.
Yes. So I'll move Brian to the end, and I'll put myself in there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
nobody there.
So the first car of this next group is going to be John Team, and he's driving Michael Andretti's Craco March 87C Cosworth DFX.
Yes, John. And while he goes to track, I will quickly get a drink because I ran out of water. But good. I should be back by the time John starts.
All right, sweet. Yeah, Juha is the glue that holds this event together. Make no mistake. All right, so John Team is on his way now. So let's take a look at what Michael Andretti actually did in the race itself. DNF a CV joint on lap 28. Well, that's unfortunate for Michael Andretti. And here comes Team down to take the green flag, and he's going into his qualifying run right now. Heads into turn one. Right against the wall in the south chute there as he heads into turn three. My goodness. Heading up the backstretch now into turn number 3. Into the north chute, now into turn 4, and we'll see what the first time and speed report is for John Team as he comes rocketing up the front straight.
There's no time registering.
Is that because he left before the green light came on?
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
All right, well, tell John that he has to start over. Yeah, I was sure that was going to happen at least once. That's our bad. Does he hear us?
Well, he's still going, but
yeah. He gets the message now. Okay, so he's going to go back to the garage. We're going to try this one more time. Sorry. Yep. Yep, we made a boo-boo. Okay, here he goes again.
yeah, we should just pay attention to the red light, really.
It's easy to forget. It's an easy one to forget. Okay, so here comes John. He's got another shot here. Lays down some rubber. He wants to get the back tires lit up and up to a certain temperature, obviously. I'm always reticent to do that because I'm afraid I'm going to blow the engine. So here comes John Team now. After that slight snafu, we'll see how he can perform in his Craco March 87C. Heading into turn number 3, up to the north chute wall, back down to line through turn number 4, and now he's heading down the front straightaway. See what the time and speed says.
43.599.
40.
That puts him second provisionally.
206.427 miles per hour. Yes, that's trending him towards second. That car looks like it's handling quite well. Doesn't seem to be twitching too much. Seems pretty smooth. Crosses the line. Lap number 2 about to come in.
.43.63. It's slower again.
Interesting. A 40. Might.
Yeah.
Well, hang on.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
43.638, 206, 232. He's still trending towards third place. That's an average to this point of 206.334. North chute into turn number 4. Comes off of turn number 4, slides out towards the wall. He's taking a very gradual arc there. Hits the line. .43.578, 206.526 miles per hour. His average so far, 206.398. And that will slot him in third. This is his final lap, coming through turn number 4. Heading down the front straightaway. Crosses the line, and that's the qualification complete for John Team. 43.430 for the final lap. 207.230 miles per hour. His average 206.606 miles per hour. That's good enough for third on the grid. That's a great run. Very nice. And now we have the second Patrick entry about to go out on the track. And here we go. Ruben Fernandez. He actually acquired this car just before the time trials thread was made live. Used to be driven by Dave Miller, but Dave gave up the car. And now it is Ruben Fernandez driving it. This is the car that was driven in real life by Emerson Fittipaldi. And he had a rather eventful month of May. He qualified 10th for the Indy 500, but then he crashed his primary car on carburation day. USAC allowed him to go to his backup car, but then he had to start 33rd and last. And then he lost power to the car on lap 131. So not the greatest month of May for Emerson Fittipaldi, but of course 2 years later it would be a different story, as he went on to win after that dramatic confrontation with Allenser Jr. with 2 laps to go. All right, so this is a twin car to the one that Little Al's driving. The only real difference is number, and it's not sponsored by Jensen car.
Hi-Fi.
Hi-Fi, yeah. That's the other difference. But a very pretty car. The Marlboro livery is a classic. It's similar to the Pennzoil livery. I think any car you put it on, it looks good. Coming through turn number 4. There's our static cam in turn 4. Speed shot. And here he comes towards the start-finish line. Let's see what the story is. Time and speed report for Ruben Fernandez. 1 lap complete for his Patrick.
That's a good opener.
Oh, that's great. 43.535. 206.730. That's good enough for second on the grid if you can keep it up. Keep up that kind of speed. Heading up the back straightaway now is Ruben Fernandez. Right against the wall. Doesn't seem to be twitching too much. Oh, he just barely grazes it. He wants to have the perfect arc going through there. A little bit high. Oh, the back end steps out. That's going to cost him. He had that car practically at a 45-degree angle going through. Oh, and he hits the wall. He strikes turn 4. So that was a light brush. I'm guessing maybe it did not damage the car, but this is not going to be a hot lap.
No. Dropped to 4th.
43.756. That's actually better than I would have expected. 205.686 miles per hour. His average to this point, 206.207, and that makes him 4th on the grid. So that cost him 2 places, just those 2 bobbles. That's all it takes in this situation. These cars are so tightly matched. Oh, he's
No.
That's the end of the run there. He hits the wall and takes the back wing off, so that is going to be it for this run, and Ruben's going to have to try again. At least he's able to bring the monocoque back to pit lane in one piece. And there he is motoring in. So unfortunately, Ruben is not going to qualify right now, maybe a bit later. There's some time, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Now, here's my nemesis from last year, David Watman. I spent the better part of 20 to 30 laps trying to get by him in the race, and I just could not do it. It was so frustrating. He had the car set up that was handling well. I had more power than he did on tap, but I just could not get by. It was just so frustrating. But hey, you know what? If I was in his shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. So here comes David Watman, Alex Morales Racing. This is the car that was driven by Lone Star JR. It is a March 87C powered by a Cosworth. And this would have been in the very twilight of Johnny's career. At this point, he actually did a full schedule in 87, but beyond this point, I think he was pretty much driving just the 500 milers, if only Indy. And that's a dangerous situation to be in. A lot of the drivers that only drove the 500, the problem is that if you're not running every week with these guys, you don't have a mental book on them, and I think, I forget who actually said it, but someone who was in that situation where they were only driving the 500 that for a single year, the first thing that leaves you is the ability to handle traffic. So that's not a good situation to be in if you're at the Indy 500. All right, let's have a look at what we have here for David Watman. Looks pretty good so far. Seems pretty clean. There's that telltale oil temperature gauge at the top of the instrument panel there. That's the giveaway that it's a March 87C. Not a 6. Coming down the front straightaway. One lap complete for David Watman. His brother's coming up later. 44.274, 280 miles per hour. That's enough to slot him in 8th at the moment. Into turn 3. Sweeps up to the north chute. He looks fast, Alberto. I'm sorry. I mean, not Alberto.
Juha. Someone else.
Sorry. He looks like he's fast, but that first lap certainly wasn't one of the fastest we've seen. Let's see what comes in now. 43,600, so a little better. 206.422, but the damage has been done by that first lap. His average to this point, 204.839. That's good enough for 8th on the grid at the moment. So that, again, it's the first lap that's being the problem for some people. But it's interesting how some people, Juha, are starting out slow, building speed, and others start out fast and lose speed.
Yeah, and I think a little twitch exiting turn 3 there.
That might cost him a 10th, but we'll see what happens as he hits the line here. David Watman, completing lap number 3, crosses the line. And what is the time and speed story? 43.693. A little bit slower.
It moves him up 6th.
That moves him up to 6th. That's interesting. I guess it's because the first lap was slow that these two are building, even though that was slower than the last one. The average to this point, 205.219 miles per hour. Trending 6th. He's on his final lap, heading into the North Chute. Good overall run as far as technique is concerned. And right down to the line there, he's trying to squeeze the very last bit of speed out of this car as he heads for the line. Crosses the line. Final lap coming in at 40. Whoa, goodness, that dropped off considerably.
Sorry, 43.
Oh, 43.693.
Yeah, and There we go. That should be
Okay, 40.
same digits as the previous lap, just inverted.
No, it says 44.
Yeah,
though.
and it's still damn it. My keyboard doesn't look like there we go. Yeah, well. There we go.
Okay, 43.963, 204.718. The average for the 4 laps, 205.093 miles per hour, and that's good enough for 8th on the grid. All right.
Grant now.
Next up is Grant Riddall, who won Long Beach, I believe.
In a car which never made the grid because it got crashed twice.
Yeah, it actually, this car, Dennis Firestone was supposed to start in this car, and there was an accident, and he was deemed not fit to drive, I from what I understand. So, yeah, this car never physically made the race. It did make the race in 1988 in the hands of Derek Daly. This is the Rayner Racing Lola, powered by a Cosworth. And do not count out Grant ever in any race, in any situation. He is lightning quick. Here he comes off the 4th turn. He's going to take the green flag. Heads into turn number 1. Ooh, he runs a bit wide there, but just probably cold tires to start with. Heading into turn 2, he's much tighter to the line that time. Exits turn 2, going up the back straightaway now. Heading north towards turn number 3 is Grant Riddall. Into turn number 3. Out to the north chute. Looking pretty good overall. Has a pretty good arc. Right down to the line in turn 4. Flirting with the... Oh, my goodness! He came as close as he possibly could to the turn 4 wall without hitting it. Wow. First lap complete for...
741.
He had to back out of that for a second there. 43.741, 205.757 miles per hour. That's good enough for 6th at the moment, but don't count him out of the top 5 just yet. He is a quick driver, but I thought I heard him back out of the throttle as he was exiting turn 1 there for the second lap. We'll see if that... Oh, look at that. He's really, really hanging the back end out there. He's practically dirt tracking it through the corners here as he heads through turn number 4. Looks more under control this time. Heading towards the start-finish line. Lap number 2 completed for Grant Riddall. 43.769, 205.625 miles per hour. His average at this point, 205.691. He's still trending towards 6th on the grid. Have a look at the inside of Grant's cockpit. Oh my goodness. Definitely loose there, coming out of turn 3 through the north chute, and now heading through turn 4, right out to the wall. He's definitely pushing. He's hustling it. He's hustling this car for all it's worth. Crosses the line. 3 laps complete. 1 more to go for Grant Riddall. 43.420. That's his best lap yet. Or 4.82, sorry. 206.982 miles per hour. The average to this point is 206.119. And he's now 4th. He's trending towards 4th with this run, so that's better. Oh goodness! He just touched the line. He just touched the line, and that was enough to send him into the fence. Let's take a look at a replay here on board with Grant as he heads into turn 3. This is a replay. He heads down into the turn, and he just runs a bit too low, and that was all it took. He almost had it saved. And then the back end stepped out again, and he hit the wall. Oh my goodness. Well, he's gonna have to come back and try it again later on. But I don't know. That's too bad. He was almost done too. That's the really difficult part. All right, here comes the guy who thought he wasn't going to be here. Anders Nilsson, and he is the series points leader right now. You see the points situation right now. Anders Nilsson on top with 69 points. John Tiemann second with 58. And then Grant and Nicholas are tied for third with 54 points. Brian Janik is fifth with 47 points. And we could see someone walk away with 1 point well, we will, not could, we will, for the pole position.
Now we've got two people who need to do another run of this group, so I think that moved me further back again.
Anders coming up the back straightaway now into turn number 3. Heading out of turn number 4 down the straightaway. Is he completing one lap, or is he on
yes, completing, yeah.
Lap number 1 in the books,
which
for
puts him seconds.
43.363. 207.550 miles per hour. That's good enough for second place in the grid. Well, I don't think Anders would have liked to be starting from the back anyway. Out of turn 4, this will be the end of lap number 2 for Grant Riddall. I'm sorry, for
Anders Nilsson.
Anders Nilsson. I was thinking about Grant, where he might be in the end here. 43.225, 208.213 miles per hour. The average to this point, 207.881, as he takes it right down to the line, exiting turn 2 now, heading up the back straightaway. It's funny, this is a car that never saw victory lane in 1987, but it's seen it plenty so far in our 87 kart series. Heading through, I mean, it's a good car. It's a state-of-the-art 87 Lola. Heading through turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Here comes lap number 3 for Anders Nilsson, series point leader. 43.165. There's our first 43.1 of the day. 208.502 miles per hour. His average is 208.088. He's on his final lap.
I wonder if he can get by Slapinski.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here, because this lap is going to have to be hot. Coming through turn number 3, slips up towards the wall, back down.
I think he brushed the wall there.
He did, but the car still looks fast. Let's see what happens as he comes off the turn. Heading for the checkered flag is Grant. I'm sorry, why do I keep saying Grant? Anders Nilsson in the Mackenzie Financial Lola. And he's going to slot in second. 43.225, 208.213. The average is 208.119. The pole speed right now is 208.339. So he was about 0.2 off. But a very good run for Anders Nilsson. I wouldn't have expected anything less. All right, now this is Dave Miller. Now, let me remind all of you of something. Dave Miller is driving this car. He's qualifying it today for Oscar Team, who cannot be here. So what will happen is the car will go to last place after this qualifying. But I don't think you might say to yourself, well, why does he even bother qualifying the car? if it's going to be going to last place anyway. There's a couple of rationales for that. One, you don't know what's going to happen between now and race day. There could be 4 people who decide to join. On top of that, I'm sure that Dave has learned a great deal about this car practicing in it, and that's information he can relay to Oscar. And I'm sure that will give him at least a leg up in trying to get the car ready for race day. So it's not as academic a prospect as you might think. And there is the green flag for Dave Miller heading into turn 1. He formerly drove the number 20 Marlboro Patrick Racing March, but he decided to step aside from the series. I guess he's got a lot of things going on in his real life. Mm-hmm. But he did have the time today to qualify this car for Oscar, and we thank him for doing that. So there really is no advantage to Dave pushing very hard here. He just has to complete the laps, really. It's more or less a test run for him that he can relay stuff to Oscar later. But here he comes now to complete lap number 1. .44083, 204.160. That's trending 10th. Yeah, he's not going to push the car needlessly. There's no point. So this is almost a demonstration run here for Dave Miller. This car in real life was driven by Randy Lewis. And he had a gearbox issue on lap number 8 in the race, unfortunately. Dave did well. Well, he didn't actually. Dave didn't do so well in the 500 last year. He started 18th and finished 29th with a broken suspension. Up the backstretch now is Dave Miller as he heads into turn number 3. He's heading up. Front stretch now. Crosses the line. Lap number 3 is going to come in. Last lap was 44.264. This one is at 43.860. 205.198. His average to this point is 204.225 miles per hour. Here comes Dave Miller, going to bring the car home in one piece. And this will mean that if anybody joins the fray be at the back of the field, that means that Oscar will start in front of them if anybody decides to jump in, because we made it the rules. It wouldn't be very nice if you had made the effort to qualify and then people could just step in front of you on race day. So we are going to honor that as the last place of the qualified cars, and then whoever joins after that will slot in behind Oscar. So there we go. Now it's time for the car that actually won this race in 1987, and there's a very interesting story behind this car. Well, and what led the driver who won in 87 to drive it. This is Allenser Sr.'s car. Number 25, it is a March 86C powered by a Cosworth. The other 2 Penske entries use Chevy Ilmore engines. This one uses a Cosworth. So the story behind this car, or this drive, originally Danny Ongais was supposed to start in the 3rd car for Penske Racing, car number 25, and it was painted black like all of Danny Ongais' cars. I think it was sponsored by Panavision and a few other companies. And in practice, Danny Ongais unfortunately had a very severe accident. And it was severe enough that the medical community deemed him not fit to run the 500. So suddenly, Penske was in the position where he had another driver's slot open, and Al Sr. had come to the race that month unemployed. He didn't have a run at all, or a drive in any car. And so they struck a deal at the last minute to put Allenser Sr. in the car that would eventually win the race. The funny part about this car is that it came from a hotel lobby. Did you know that, Juha?
I knew that, yes.
Yes, it was actually a display car in a hotel lobby. They had to grab it and get it ready to race. And I don't think there's ever been an instance like that I can remember where a display car goes on to be a winning car. That's pretty amazing.
Also amazing to think that a 1-year-old car gets turned into a display car.
Yeah.
Well, still be more competitive than half of the remaining grid.
It's usually the other way around. A winning car it becomes a display car. Yeah. It did it backwards. Lap number 1 is complete for Simon Watman. What has he got here?
Oh, no, that's not going to work. No,
Ooh, 46.557. That's, oh my goodness, 193.311 miles an hour. My goodness, that's...
If I were him, I'd wave off.
I think he probably should. That's definitely what I would do, but something went wrong in that first lap. He had to get out of the throttle, or he was going to hit the wall or something, but, yeah.
Oh, what was that? That was a gear.
Why is he changing gears? That's strange. I mean, you change gears in a modern Indy car, but not these classics. These you don't shift gears in. It's funny thing is, I think last time we ran this mod, this car was driven by Matt Sibignani, and he was shifting too. So
must be the car then.
I really don't know. It's strange. 47.028. 191.375. Simon should definitely wave this off because this is going to be the slowest run period, and he'll be starting dead in the last row, and he doesn't want to do that if he can avoid it.
I'm sure if he can do better, he should just stop.
He completely misses the apex there. Goodness. The interesting part, though, is that this story with Al Unser almost repeated itself in 1992. You know what I'm referring to, Juha?
Not this instance, no.
Well, let's take a look at lap time first, and I'll explain. 149. That's a little faster, but still, it's 195.020. His average to this point, 193.224. What I'm referring to is Nelson Piquet was driving a 92 for Menard, John Menard, in those brightly colored Glidden cars. And he crashed, had a very severe accident in practice, broke his legs, and was definitely out. And then along came Al Unser Sr. He took the ride over and finished third, and everyone was like, is he going to do this again? Take over for an injured driver and win again? It almost happened. He finished third on the leader lap in the Menard Buick. That's the best a Buick ever did it, IMS in real life. 46.199. 194.809. The average is 193.618 miles per hour. By far the slowest run of the day. But maybe Simon just thought better to just focus on race setup and go forward from there. But to finish that story, Nelson Piquet did make a full recovery and did run in the Indy 500 the following year. So it has a happy ending. All right. Is this Tiago?
This is Tiago, yes.
Oh boy, hold on to your hats. This could be a pole run right here. Tiago has been lightning quick in this car. This is the car that was driven by Dwayne Pancho Carter, and if you look for images of this car from 1987, you will find one where it is literally upside down. He flipped the car in practice and scraped his helmet right down to the foam on the top, and fortunately was okay. But pretty shocking instant for Pancho Carter. No such histrionics for Canola. Look at him take that. His wheel was right on the white line there. He is absolutely using every inch of the racetrack, and very interested to see what will happen here with Tiago. Tiago's another one of these guys who has raced with us in the past. Didn't race much with us last year, if at all, I think. But he's back now after almost a year absence, and still very fast. Tiago also is in the Detroit area, from what I understand. He and myself and Janik are waving the Detroit banner. Lap number 1 is 43.722. Interesting. 205.846. That's 6th fastest. Okay, that is surprising because based on what
I was expecting more.
Yeah, based on what he was able to do in practice, but that's what I was talking about. The track may be different in this configuration, and just because someone can lay down a 42.7 doesn't mean they can do it 4 times in a row. Let's see if he's any faster on this lap.
Ooh, much better.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, 43.166. That definitely improves him. He's up to 3rd now, trending. 208.497. The average is 207.163. So it just took him a second to get those tires warm. Let's see if he can be the first driver to dip into the 42s here. Heading into turn number 3. He's able to take that car right down to the line. He's really conscious of where that left front wheel is.
Oh yeah, that's a good lap.
Man, he is. Those are textbook laps that he's running. They're just perfect, fast.
It'll be very close to 42s. It is a 42.
A 42.982. That's the fastest lap so far. That's 209.390 miles per hour. He's averaging 207.900 for the 3 laps, and he's trending towards 3rd place right now. He's on his final lap. Tiago Canola, sponsored by Hardee's. Which was a fast food chain, or still is a fast food chain in the United States. Heading through turn number 4, takes it down to the line. He's using the entire racetrack, so that's part of the reason he's fast. He's not hedging in any way. Turn 4, and the front straight now. 42. Wow, another one. 42.884, and that gives him the pole position right there. 209.868 on that lap. The average for 4 laps, 208.389 miles per hour. There is your provisional pole sitter, Tiago Canola of Brazil. And now I think it's time for
a Spaniard in a Brazilian car.
This is your teammate, correct?
No, this is not my teammate. It's Ruben Fernandez.
Oh, Fernandez doing his 2nd run. I see.
I'm in an AJ Foyt car.
That's right. No, I didn't realize you'd put him in that position on the thing. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I still have to adapt this sheet.
Okay, so this is attempt number 2. And I put a little yellow tick on the graphic there because this is attempt number 2 for Ruben Fernandez. He just lightly brushed the wall in his first attempt, but it was enough to knock the rear wing off, and that, of course, is the end of that. Thankfully for his team, he was able to bring the March 87 back to the garage intact other than the wing, and it is back in one piece, and he's going to give it another shot here. It's looking good. Oh man, he missed the apex big time there. That's going to cost him some speed. Coming through 4 now. We'll see what the first lap brings him in his Patrick Racing. Everybody loves to, I mean, people are so used to this car being a Penske because of its livery. It's not. This is before Penske took on the Marlboro colors. 43.887, 205.072. That's good enough for 10th at the moment. Through turn number 3 into the North Chute, looking pretty good overall. Heading through 4, looking down the front straightaway. There he goes. Completing lap number 2 is Ruben Fernandez. Into turn number 1. Oh no, he did it again!
No.
my goodness! Oh,
Oh.
no!
At least it's turn 1 this time.
Here's the replay, and he just got that tire underneath that line, and that was all she wrote. Right there, boom, that's it. And the car comes loose. Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's that moment, too, when you've done that, and you have just enough time to think to yourself, oh, no. I've done that many times in practice, so I know I'm like Bill Clinton. I feel his pain. All right.
Yeah, so I've just called Grant to track so he can have another attempt.
Okay, so this is attempt number 2 for Grant.
Yeah. For Ruben, this means end of the line.
Yeah, there's not going to be any more room in this session for him, yeah. Okay, this is the second attempt for Grant. We may set a new record, at least ISO-wise, for second attempts today. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, everyone associates this car with our friend Derek Daly, but you'd have to go to 1988 to find him driving this car. Or actually, no. I think he might have been driving it after Indy at this point in 87. I'd have to check on that. But I know for sure that this car was driven by him at Indy in 88, the following year. All right. Crosses the line. And we'll see if Grant still goes like a house on fire here, or if he tries to drive a little more conservative, get the car in the show. Heading through turn 3. Whoa, he missed the apex there, but he doesn't hit the wall. Good. Heading through turn 4. Another high apex there from him. Now heading down. See what his timing and scoring says for lap number 1.
Yeah, sorry, slight delay there. 44.089.
Goodness, 204.133, the average for that lap.
That's less than I expected.
Well, maybe he's just... there is a possibility. We don't know what they're doing with their Sunday. There's a possibility that he just simply doesn't have the time to do another run later. So he's just like, I may as well just get it in the show and play it safe. 500 miles is a long way. Twitchy coming off of turn 4 there, but this probably will be a faster lap here. Yes, first lap is 44 dead, second 43.8. This one comes in at 'Do we have lap number 3?
Yes, 43.896.
205.030, and his average at this point 204.811. Here he comes off of turn 4, and almost strikes the wall. Final lap complete for Grant Riddall, and that will bring for him one last time and speed report. Oh, it's dropped off considerably there. 44.299, 203.165. His average is 204.397. It's good enough for 13th. So, not the type of run we're used to seeing from Grant, but he got the car in the show, and now he can focus on the race set. So you're going to make a run now?
No, this is time for the admin break, so I'm not going to make my own.
You've gone to the end of the line. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, interesting Interesting time trials so far. So that gets Grant into the show. Canola is your pole sitter after that fantastic run in his Machinist Union Racing March 87 C. Cosworth. That was, I had a feeling he was going to be the provisional pole, but we still haven't seen the stock blocks. They're coming up after this break, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens there. So let's go to the, let's see, I'm going to the, well, I'm going to give you a second to get the provisional grid sorted. The film.
Yes, when we now have the admin break.
Okay. So we'll have it on the other side?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Good. All right, so we have a archival film for you that chronicles 1987 Indy 500. This is Legends of the Brickyard, which is narrated by the one and only Paul Page. Tells the story of qualifying and the race for the 71st running of the Indianapolis 500. Hope you enjoy, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes or so. So enjoy. We'll talk to you in just a bit. Again, Tiago Canola, your provisional pole sitter at the moment, with a speed.
The grid is now sorted.
Oh, well, here we go. I may as well go ahead and read through it. First is Tiago Canola. He's on the pole at the moment, 208.389 miles per hour. In second, Cezarius Lipinski, 208.339. So only a 0.05 of a second difference there, or 0.05 of a mile per hour difference. Third is Anders Nilsson. Fourth, Giovanni Santarami. Fifth, John Thiem. Sixth, Nicholas Kirsten. Seventh is myself. Eighth is David Saber. Ninth is Alberto Aquino. 10th is David Watman. 11th is Dave Miller. 12th is Ray Riddall. 13th is Grant Riddall. 14th is Jules Bouchard. 15th is Mikael Drexler. And then last car qualified in terms of speed is Simon Watman, and he's 16th. And remember that Dave Miller is driving the car that will be driven by Oscar and will eventually be put at the end of the line. So that's your lineup at the moment. Let's go on now to the archival film, which I think you will enjoy. We'll be back in just a short while. Take a breather. Talk to you in a bit.
With Penske looking for a record 6th Indy victory as a car owner, and Unser, a race-savvy veteran behind the wheel, this team will give some of the favorites a scare. With Unser safely qualified in the middle of the 7th row, Penske has decided to pull Danny Sullivan from the starting grid to re-qualify with a different chassis. It's a gamble that gives the 1985 champion a quicker machine and a better chance to win. The second weekend of time trials also focuses on the goals of veteran Gordon Johncock, returning to the Indy Wars after 2 years of retirement.
The first thing is get in the race. You know, have a safe qualifying speed, not go out there and have to extend yourself so far that you're going to end up in a wall or spin or something, because if you do that, it's probably, at this stage of the game, it's too late on the second weekend if you wreck a car and you don't have a good backup car that you haven't run, and if you put it in the fence, you're out of the race.
The two-time 500 winner puts himself in the race without incident. A much better month than Tom Sneva experiences, twice kissing the wall before qualifying 22nd. Rookie Davy Jones has been racing for 17 of his 22 years. In a car adjusted by owner A.J. Hoyt, Jones qualifies the 10th fastest machine in the field and is the swiftest rookie. With 33 road warriors on the totem pole and time running out, there are still more in line, determined to conquer the world's most demanding racetrack. The center of attention becomes a rookie named Dominic Dobson. who is on the bubble, the first man to be eliminated if his speed is topped. Dobson can do nothing but wait and watch and worry. With just 34 minutes until qualifying is complete, Steve Chassis becomes Dobson's tormentor, aiming to replace him in the field. A happy team watches Chassis bump Dobson for spot number 33. But later, Chassis finds himself on the bubble. Chassis speed holds up, and the grid is complete for the 71st running of the late Tony Holman's dream come true, the Indianapolis 500. Covered by more photojournalists than any other annual sporting event in the world, the 500 has provided a month of action, thrills, and excitement. They have photographed 21 separate accidents, more than the grand total of the previous 2 years. Now, before race day, they have one final event to witness, a unique pit crew contest featuring the teams of Roberto Guerrero, A.J. Foyt, Mario Andretti, and Bobby Rahal. So, drop the green and gun the machine. Then, over the wall in no time at all. Scramble and tumble, but don't ever fumble. And give first prize to the Andretti guys.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
This is Tony Holland in the command.
For the 71st time in auto racing history, the most spectacular and dramatic moment in all sports. 33 cars rumbling with expectation. In front of an estimated 400,000 excited fans. And roaring wheel to wheel into turn one. Pole sitter Mario Andretti escapes the path and avoids what could have been a major problem. A spin in the first turn puts drivers under caution, but does not seriously affect any of the pre-race favorites. For most of the early going, the fiery red rocket of Andretti seems to be in a race of its own, untouchable. Proving Mario correct when he called it the best car I've ever had here. But the question remains, will the man who has finished only 3 of these spectaculars since winning it in 1969 end his jinx? Will Mario's Indy luck finally improve?
No problems at all for Mario Andretti.
For 150 laps, some 30 drivers become the hunters. Andretti, the hunted. It is the most awesome and challenging test of precision in all of sports. And in 1987, nerves are at the breaking point, and the rate of attrition is soaring.
It was just an ignition problem. It happened really after our first stop.
I feel if the engine would have stayed together, we'd have been around at the end with a Hardy Special. And I think anybody that's around at the end of the day is going to be in the top 10, maybe the top 5.
Then, with less than 25 laps till the checkered flag, disappointment again bites Mario Andretti. A fuel system failure floods the engine. Slowly and painfully, Mario's masterful month grinds to a halt. For 22 days and 177 laps, Mario Andretti has been unchallenged. But after an impossibly long pit stop, the problems take their toll, and the red number 5 is in serious trouble. But is still able to continue racing. Surging into the lead is Roberto Guerrero, 20 laps away from the biggest triumph of his career. His wife Katie knows, with Andretti having lost time in the pit, and and many of the favorites in the garage, Roberto is driving the fastest car on the speedway.
Guerrero is flying. Make no mistake about it. Guerrero is flying.
But on lap 182, fate frowns on the 28-year-old driver from Colombia. As Guerrero receives fuel, he knows his closest competitor, Al Unser, is a lap behind. But he also knows he has a problem. He cannot take his car out of gear. When Guerrero's engine dies, Danny Sullivan encourages Penske teammate Unser as the problems in the leader's pit multiply. When Guerrero's crew hurriedly tries to push him out, their attempt is futile. And looking much like visitors from another planet, they frantically race after the now lifeless car. While Guerrero loses valuable time, Unser rockets into the lead. When the Guerrero machine is finally rolled out, he is passed and then lapped by the yellow blur of Al Unser.
And Guerrero is back in action. But your race leader is Al Unser.
The man who was unemployed when he came here in early May is sitting out front, a full lap ahead of Guerrero. As Guerrero battles back to pass Unser and join the lead lap, it seems unimportant. Until suddenly, with but 8 laps to go, Andretti's injured machine limps to a halt, bringing out the yellow flag and allowing the trailing cars to bunch up behind Al Unser for a restart. Given the opportunity, Guerrero tries his best to overtake the 6-lap cars between himself and the leader. Bettenhausen, Rutherford, Al Unser Jr., Barbaza all fall to Guerrero. But can he reel in the big one? One lap remains. Less than 5 seconds separate Guerrero from the Penske car. It is, however, too much to overcome. And Al Unser Sr., after starting in 20th position, roars to the checkered flag. With his victory, Unser now joins A.J. Foyt as the only 4-time winners of this greatest of all racing events.
I'll tell you, it's hard to put in words. It's just a great, great feeling. I'm sitting in the car and I tell myself I can't believe this is really happening today. And between everything, I think this one is a lot more gratifying because of the circumstances that are occurred during the month. But yet, it's just a great feeling to be able to win. But I think this one's harder and nicer.
When this quest for excellence is over, Guerrero finishes second. Rookie of the Year, Fabrizio Barbaza third, and Al Unser Jr. fourth. But the triumph and the tributes of 1987 belong to Al Unser. At 48, the oldest Indy winner and proud victor of this, the 71st Indianapolis 500.
Okay, we are back.
And we'll just check if everybody is here.
Okay.
Which is always handy. So we needed Simone Ginardini, who is here. Rob de Vries is here. Filippo Marazzi, Ryan Walker, Jacob Frederickson, Erik Morin, August Watring, Dana Schurer, Richard Wilkes, Brian Janik, Ruben Fernandez, and myself.
All right.
Good. There we go.
So we got to tell Simon, don't go until he sees the green light.
Yeah. So this time I'm going to be smart and just wait until the timer starts counting down.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like a more interesting decision rather than having to restart again. I think this could be our last group of drivers because the only ones who didn't fit in are me and Ruben Fernandez, but it would mean we'd have to organize a session for just the two of us. So unless people start crashing or waving off, this might be the last batch of drivers.
Might be, yeah. We'll see.
Depends how many people crash.
Well,
if the timer would start running, I could send Simone to track.
You're looking at.
Yeah, I'm looking at the clock.
Simone Gilardini. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He is obviously Italian, and he is driving the car that Stan Fox drove in.
And now, the time is. Okay. The clock has started.
Yeah, Stan Fox. That was his first Indy 500 start in 1987, and he went on to finish 7th in the race. Pretty impressive. He would start a lot of 500s, and unfortunately, he had an accident at Indy in '95 that basically ended his racing career. But Stan had some excellent races in Indy. He drove very well, very smartly in a lot of them. So here we go. What does he do? What happened?
Oh,
well, according to the rules, he's got one more shot. He can go out there and do it again.
Yeah. No idea what happened there.
Not sure. He might have looked at his gauges and didn't look ahead. Or maybe carried too much speed into the pit lane. But now he looks like he's doing better. Here he comes onto the pit lane. Okay, fine. It looks like we're going to get this started now. This is your teammate. This is
that's looking good then.
Yeah. It's March 86C, powered by a Cosworth, of which there are plenty in the field. Not the most state-of-the-art car, but a solid one. And Simone has driven in IndyCar races with us in the past. He drove most notably in the USAC 78 500, I believe. He did not drive in last year's 500. He races with us occasionally. I'm guessing this is probably only the second 500-mile race he's done. And here he is coming around. This will be to take the green flag for his run. Hopefully he's got a full head of steam up here. Takes the green flag and he's on his run. Quite high above the line there, not getting too close to it. Kind of a middle line he's taking through the corners. We'll see what happens here with Simone as he gets to the end of the back straightaway and heads into turn 3. How low is he willing to go in that car once the tires are up to temperature? Not very much is the answer. I'm guessing this is going to be a rather pedestrian lap, but we'll wait and see what the time and speed report gives us. Crosses the line to complete lap number 1.
Yes, and let's see, 46.724.
Another sub. This is sub 200 again. 192.620. That's good enough for 21st. So yeah, not exactly lighting the world on fire here. But on the other hand, we've seen other people who have been driving really fast and they end up crashing. We've got already one front runner in Ruben Fernandez who's going to have to do a third attempt, and if he doesn't, well, he's going to make the race one way or the other. But
Yeah, you just want to be higher up the grid.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be at the back. You can hope if you can help it.
Oh, 45.484. Yes, there you go. Well, he's made it into the top 20.
All right. 197.872 on that lap. The average so far is 195.211. Into turn number 4 now. Right out to the wall as he comes up the or down the front stretch now, starting lap number 4 next. Lap number 3 is in the books for
45.735.
196.786 miles per hour, the average to this point, 195.733. 17th fastest at this moment. But he's got to complete this one lap. Comes out of turn number 4. Crosses the line. And that's the end of the run for Simone Gilardini.
Yeah, and my keyboard didn't register that. Annoying habit. 44.824, 45. Yeah.
Okay, 200.785 miles per hour. That was his fastest lap of the run. His average for the 4 laps, 196.972. That slots him in 16th on the grid.
Yes, and our machinist tuning car. You mentioned Schaefer earlier. There you have a Schaefer car.
Yeah, there you go. This is actually a Schaefer car. Schaefer
Jose Ligaza's car.
That's right. There's a guy who, what really historically a lot more was expected from Jose. He was initially sponsored by Bobby Unser in his effort to get into Indy cars, and he had top flight equipment. I mean, this is a state of the art car. It's an '87 March powered by a Cosworth. You can't get much better than that. Here is Rob going back and forth trying to get the car's tire temperature up to speed. Rob, of course, hails from the Netherlands. In this race in 1987, Jose Le's 7th and last Indy 500 start. Yeah, which is too bad because I think people over the years were expecting more from him. He showed flashes of brilliance, but he actually was involved in an accident on the start of this race in real life. So with Carter. So here's the first lap in for was that one lap complete?
No, that's his first sector.
Okay.
No,
so
he still has a bit to go.
All right. He looks a little bit squirrely coming up to the wall there. He heads down through turn number 4, heading down the front straightaway now. Crosses the line.
43.779. That's a good time.
That's all right. Nice. 205.578 miles per hour. That is trending 9th at the moment. So that's not too bad. He's got a pretty good arc coming off the corner. He's not twitching. He doesn't seem uncomfortable. Heading now into turn number 3. Takes the car all the way up to the wall in the north chute. Now down into turn 4. Right on the line. Slipping out to the wall. Ooh. Does a good job to contain it there. As he's coming now towards turn number 1 on the front straight. Lap number 2 is in the books for Rob de Vries. 43.667, 206.105 miles per hour. His average to this point is 205.841. That's good enough for 8th in the grid. So he's getting progressively faster. Heads into turn 3. That car sponsored not only by Machinists Union, but by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Bryant sponsored many cars, actually, at Indy over the years. Exiting turn 4, here comes lap number 3 on the time and speed report. Lap number 3 complete for Rob DeVries. He's in his final lap, 43.745, 205.738 miles per hour. The average to this point is 205.807. Still trending towards 8th. He's on his final lap. Lap number 4 complete now. And that comes in at 43.751, 205.710, 205.782 is the time, and that beats me. He's in front of me now in 7th place. That drops me to 8th. Okay. So that's another car in the field. And now we move on to the Hemmelgarn Racing Team and a good friend of mine, I believe. Oh, wait, this is... I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is...
Filippo Marazzi.
It's Filippo Marazzi, yeah. Sorry, the color confused me there. Filippo Marazzi, who you see coming towards you now. There he is. And this is the first of the Hemmelgarn entries, number 71. This was driven in real life by Ari Leyendijk.
Wilkes had this car until...
He did, and then he gave it up. It was a curious move on his part. I mean, he can drive whatever he wants, but it just seemed strange to me that he would move from a car that had a Cosworth to a car that had a Brabham Honda, because the Brabham Honda is not as powerful as the Cosworth. Strange move. In any case, this car is now driven by Filippo Marazzi, and this is a full-time drive, if I'm not mistaken. So here he comes out of turn...
Yes, it's a full-time drive.
Yeah, here he comes out of turn number 4. This will be the start of his run. This is the first. We got 3 Hemmelgarn cars, as you saw in our graphic for multi-car teams. They're tied with 3 cars entered with the Penske team. As far as like most cars entered, we have 71, 81, and 91. And for the Penske team, 3, 8, and 25. So let's see what lap number 1 tells us for Filippo. Filippo is not the quickest driver in the league, but he is pretty reliable overall. He can bring a car a good performance here and there. He does good in sports cars. Here he comes towards the line. Let's see what...
Yes.
Time speed report says.
44.686.
Okay. 201.405 miles per hour, the average for that lap, and that is good enough for 19th. So I guess he's maybe a little bit of butterflies here, but he's, you know, after seeing what's happened to a lot of the drivers so far, maybe this isn't such a bad move. Just get the car in the show. Heading into turn number 4 now. Slips out to the outside wall. Lap number 2 about to be complete for Filippo Marazzi. 44.418, a little faster. 202.621. The average speed to this point, 202.011 miles per hour for Filippo Marazzi. Hemmelgarn Racing as he just barely kisses the wall. I don't think you could have fit a piece of paper between that tire and the wall there. It was very close. into turn number 3, takes the car down to the... Oh my goodness, he actually went over the line there. Might have unsettled the car slightly, but he managed to get through with no trouble. Exiting turn number 4 now is Filippo. Again, keeps it off the wall. Let's see what happens here. Lap number 3 about to come in. Heads into turn number 1. 44.547, just a little slower. 202.034 miles per hour. The average speed to this point, 202.019. He's trending 16th at the moment. Heads down the back straightaway. This car sponsored by Provimi Veal, a sponsor that followed Luyendyk to a lot of different cars. In the race, unfortunately, Luyendyk didn't do all that hot. He started 7th, but he finished in 18th DNF with a suspension problem on the 125th lap, I think from contact. There's the 4th lap complete for Filippo Marazzi, and he is qualified for the Indianapolis 500 with a lap of 44.582, 201.875 for that lap. The average for the 4 laps, 201.983, and that slots him in 15th. So Filippo is into the big show. He pulls off right next to the Dodge safety truck.
Yes, and now it's Jacob Fredriksson.
Oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. Jacob Fredriksson. And you hear that low hum. It is a stock block. This is the first of the Buicks. You may recognize this car and this driver. The last time we ran the 1987 500, it was this car and this driver that finished first. And that is better than a Buick ever did in real life. The best that a Buick ever did at the Indianapolis 500 was the 3rd place finish by Big Al in 1992 with the Menard Buick, sponsored by Glidden Paints, brightly colored. And here comes...
And you can recognize Derek Daly's helmet in this one.
Yes, the arrow on it is distinctively Derek Daly's helmet. Here comes Fredriksson, and you hear that low hum of the Buick. The Buick was kind of a fan favorite at the Speedway because they were always the underdog, competing with more boost than the competition, but using a passenger car engine. And they worked really hard to try to make those competitive. And I would wager that the handling of these cars is very, very different from the thoroughbreds because it probably has a pendulum feel with that big, heavy iron Buick stock block in the back. It's a small engine, but it's heavy. All right, so here comes...
This is interesting. 44.189.
Whoa! That's surprising. Well, 203...
I was expecting more.
203.671, the average on that lap. Well, I think it's worth pointing out that Fredriksson has not had much time to practice this time. So, and it's not the situation either of where he can simply just grab the set that he had 2 years ago or 3 years ago and try it again. You can't do that because the physics have changed in these cars, and so whatever he was using before won't work this time. Just a function of how the cars have been changed for this series at large. All right, so here he comes to complete lap number 2. 43.834, so faster now. 205.320. The average to this point is 204.492. That's trending 15th. So yeah, not quite the splash we were expecting. I think we're going to have to wait until we see the next car in line for that, the second Buick. Here he comes through turn 3 on lap number 3. Fourth turn, third lap.
We'll get there, Jason. We'll get there.
I know. We'll get there. Down the front straightaway. Completes lap number 3. 43.938, 204. 204.834. The average to this point is 204.606. He goes up a little higher on the forecast there. He's now trending 14th, and he's on his final lap. Fredrickson is a great oval racer. He understands that these things are not won in the first lap. He's very cagey where that's concerned. So I think on race day, things are going to be much different for him than the way they appear right now. Do not count out Fredrickson. He just doesn't have enough time to work with this car, I don't think. And he comes to the line to complete his run. Jakob Fredrickson from Sweden with the stock block Buick crosses the line, one of two stock blocks in the field, 43.812. That's his best lap. 205.423. The average to this point, for the 4 laps, is 204.810, and that slots him in 12th. Okay, so it picked up at the end there. And now here comes
the other one,
the other stock block, which we are expecting quite a lot from if the times that we've seen on the server are any indication.
Well, this is the one where my money's on.
Yep.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
The Kentucky Fried Chicken, sponsored number 81. March Buick. This is the second of 3. And interestingly, the other 2 have Cosworth engines. This has a Buick. This car was driven by Rich Vogler in real life. And if we look at the facts here, he had a DNF because a rocker arm failed on him on lap 109. He started 11th and finished in 20th. But Vogler, you may not know who he is, but Vogler was a real legend. In fact, Bob Wilson, who used to race with us, the late Bob Wilson, I think had a run-in with Vogler. He was driving in a way that Bob did not deem correct for a specific race, or he was being too aggressive, and he had to take sanctioning action against Vogler. So it's funny how Bob had a kind of a fringe kind of relationship with people who had done Indy cars, like Tom Bigelow and Vogler and others. Especially in the Midwest, there's a lot of crossover there. I still got to get to a sprint car race someday, Juha. I really want to go see one of those because they're just nuts. Okay, so let's see what happens here with, this is show and tell time.
43.421.
That's a good opening lap, and it's good enough to place him third right now. 207.273 is the speed average for that lap, and that's trending third. The question is, can he get more out of this car by the time he might get faster before he's done here. We got some intel here from Jakob Fredrickson. He says the track is warm and so it's difficult. So there you go.
Well, that's not looking promising for me then.
Well, crosses the line. What's the lap speed now? 43.383. 207.455. He's averaging 207.364. And that's still good enough for third place, which is a respectable starting position. Still, I mean, that's very good. I think anybody who starts in the top 10 next Sunday is gonna be heaving a sigh of relief, because that's a lot less cars to deal with. Oh man, look at how he hangs that out there in turn 3. Man, he's pushing it, and again, there's that.
No, wave off.
Oh, he's waving it off. He's waving. That's the first wave off we've had. So he waves off. He's like, "No, I'm sorry. I can do better." So he's coming back in.
No.
Interesting. All right. So next up,
I'll tell Ian to stay on the server. There we go.
all right. So everybody join me in welcoming a new racer here to ISO. Has never raced with us before. In fact, this is the first time he's ever raced on a server before. This is his first sim racing experience on on a server, not on just his computer. This is virgin territory for Eric Morin, driving Steve Chassis's beautifully painted number 87. This is a March 87C powered by a Cosworth, so he has an excellent mount underneath him, and he's been practicing offline as well as online. And I got to give Eric credit. If I was starting my sim racing career, I probably would not pick the Indianapolis 500 as my place to start it. But he's very anxious to do well, and he's happy to be here. He even donated to the league the other day. We appreciate that. We appreciate that very much. He's a big fan of our work, actually. He was asking me about the USAC 74 mod yesterday. I talked to him via telephone. He's a very enthusiastic guy, happy to be racing with us, and we're happy to have him. And there's the green flag. Heads into turn 1. Oh, goodness! Well, he missed the apex there, but we'll see what happens here. I mean, that's just one turn out of several here. He's got better traction there going through turn number 2. Heading down to turn number 3 into the north chute. That's a much better entry there. A little bit high. But he's got a solid car, and he can probably get this thing set up well for race day where it's easy to drive. And he might have a good day. We'll see what happens. I mean, if this car is as tricky as it is for people in qualifying, it's probably going to be very tricky on race day, too. We might end up seeing a small finishing order. 46.548. That's 193.349 for his first lap. Not as fast as he's done in the server. He has done sub 45 laps on the server. I've seen him do it. So maybe it's just jitters. Who knows? Heading up the back straightaway now, heading into turn 3. Let's go on board there with him. Oh, and I'll actually step back. You can see the paint splashes on the car there. It's not all that different a livery from a Benetton. It looks a lot like a Benetton. It's a pretty car. Heading now to complete lap number 2. Into turn number 1. He goes.
807.
Oh, a little slower. 192.279. His average to this point is 192.812. Heads down the back straightaway. And now into turn number 3. Feathering the throttle there, you can hear it. So that car is pushing, it appears. Which is actually interesting. It's kind of the opposite problem people would have on a hot track. The car would be slippery. Or the track would be slippery. Heading through start-finish area, lap 3 complete for Eric Morin. 46.056, 195. That's his fastest lap. 195.414. His average to this point is 193.672. And that's good enough for 21st. So he's going to have to work on the race setup this coming week and get the car ready for 500 miles. See if he can outlast some of his competitors and get a good finish. Through the north chute, now into turn 4. Heading down the front straightaway, south facing now, going down the front straightaway, is Eric Morin. He completes his qualifying run. And the final lap comes in at 45.931, 195.946 miles an hour. His average is 194.236, and that lines him up 20th. All right, so Eric is safely into the field.
August Watling now in a car which you prefer, probably.
Yes, because it was driven by one of my heroes, the late Scott Brayton, from Coldwater, Michigan, a town that I have visited before. Coldwater is one of these towns that it's like there is one of everything. There's one bar, there's one church, there's one school, there's one restaurant, there's one post office. It's one of those like towns where you have two, like a main kind of crossroads, and that's the town. Very, very American and very Midwest in its construction. But yeah, also Scott Brayton's father, Lee Brayton, drove Indy cars as well. Unfortunately, we lost Scott in 1996 after he had already qualified in the pole for the 500, and his car was taken by Ungaius, and he started 33rd with that same tradition. He's replacing, he was replacing Scott Brayton. But this is a very typical Brayton livery, this fuchsia with blue. And he's driving a March 87C, and it's powered by a Cosworth. This is the third and final Hemmelgarn entry. I've hung out with August many times. He lives in Noblesville, Indiana, which is not very far from the speedway itself. A little bit of a drive, but not too far. I've hung out with him at the speedway before. He's lots of fun. He's a really cool guy, and man, he's one of these guys that builds venues, and hangs from high distances. He does a lot of stuff that I would be like, no, thank you. He earns his money, let me tell you. Lap 1 is complete for August Watring, and it's coming in 43.712, 205.893 miles per hour. That's trending 7th. And this car in 1987, driven, of course, by Scott Brayton. He replaced, this I didn't know, he replaced Johnny Parsons because he had a broken ankle in practice. I didn't know that. Started 13th, finished 12th in 1987. All right, now here comes the second time in for August, 43.475, 207.016. That's trending 6th. So that's pretty good, actually, considering what we've seen so far. This is a good qualifying run for August. Just to complete this lap and then one more, and then he's in the top 10 if he can keep this going. Runs a bit high there. Fourth turn. Looks pretty good. Pretty clean run so far, and he was concerned. I talked to him earlier. He was concerned that he just didn't have a handle on this car yet, but the numbers are telling a very different story as he takes it right to the wall. He's trying to get one last really fast lap in 43.711, so that actually drops him down a bit. 205.898. The average now is 206.267, but he's actually trending 6th still, even though that was a slower lap. So we'll see what this last lap is. He had a great entry into turn 1, pulled a lot of speed through there. So let's see what happens when this lap is complete. Here comes August Watring, Noblesville, Indiana, off of turn 4, driving the number 91 Hemmelgarn audio style March 87C, crosses the line, takes the checkered flag, 43.545, and he does do good enough to start 6th. 206.683. The average speed 206.371. That's a great set of laps for him. That's way.
Yes, and now we have Ryan Walker.
All right,
and
so
we arranged something, so I'll be quiet for a minute.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Ryan Walker is driving a 86 March, actually, powered by a Cosworth. This is entered by WENS, which I believe is a radio station or a TV station, and he's driving for Pizza Hut as well. So we have Pizza Wars. So the question is, will Domino's Pizza or Pizza Hut be the higher pizza car at the end of the 500? He's feathering the car a little bit there. Ryan comes off of turn 4. He's going to take the green flag. Into turn number 1. Is turn 2. Decent arc through here. Right down to the line. Back out to turn number 2. Coming into turn 3 now and into the north chute. This is looking pretty decent. Let's see what Ryan is able to put up for a time and speed here. Feathering the throttle and exit there, so it may not be handling exactly the way he wants. Crosses the line. Let's see what the time and speed says.
44.834 puts him in 23rd.
200.741 is the speed average for the first lap for Ryan Walker from Scotland.
Just thinking, we got the Pizza Hut car now and the Domino's car next.
Yes, so 2 pizza cars in a row.
Yeah. We should have slotted Ian Mills in right before this. It would be even more fun.
Yeah, then we'd have we have a lot of cars that are fast food here. This one, Domino's Pizza, Hardee's.
Not sure I forgot that one.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, but that was Ian Mills. 44.461. Moves on to 22nd.
Okay. That's 202.425 miles per hour. His average so far is 201.579. He's playing it rather conservatively, I think, in this car. Feathering the car a little bit again there.
Well, this car never made the race, so at least it'll be better than that.
Yeah, this car actually was going to be qualified by Tom Bigelow, but he didn't have enough time to complete his refresher course. So he did DNQ'd. Okay, what do we got here? Lap number 4. Was that 3?
Lap 3. He's on lap 4 now.
Oh, he's on lap 4 now. 44.554. Not as fast. His fastest lap was lap 2. The average to this point is 201.720 miles per hour for Ryan Walker. Off of the 4th turn.
Yes,
Coming
and
down
that will be 44 probably. Yeah.
All right, 44.411, 202.652 miles per hour, the average for that lap, and the overall average for 4 laps, 201.952, 18th fastest for Ryan Walker. Good, solid run. And now we move to the next pizza car, and this is a favorite of ours, driver that we always love to race against. Hasn't raced against us very recently, but we know that she is very fast. I'm talking about Dana Scherer, who made such a huge statement when we used to run the 73 mod. She was incredibly quick in those cars. She's driving the car that Al Unser Jr. drove to his very best Indy 500 finish to date in 1987. I believe he was 4th in the Domino's Pizza Hot One. Notice, too, here, this is testament to the detail that we put into the mods here at ISO. Notice that the front wheels are red and the rear wheels are blue to match the livery. And I know that historically Domino's drivers have 30 minutes to get the job done, but I don't think that Dana will require 30 minutes to get this time trial done. As she comes off of the 4th turn, ready to start her run. It's great to see her back racing with us again, or qualifying at this point. Hopefully she'll have a good race on Sunday. She didn't race in the 500 last year. Coming out of turn number 1 now, up to the line, heads to for the car.
That's a good opener.
No, very good. Yeah. She's really, it's funny the way the car is behaving right now. It almost looks like she's lifting she's lifting almost the left front wheel off the ground. If you look at it, watch the car as it comes through the corner. Something about the way she's got it set
Yeah,
up.
it does. Yeah, that's how it looks, yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, as long as it works.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is as long as it goes, these cars are made for go. Crosses the line. Let's see what Dana's got on the time and speed report. 43.969, 204.690. That's good enough for 15th at the moment. To be fair, she hasn't a lot of time in this car. she's definitely thinking about the 500-mile race, I think. But look at how smooth she is, though. Much smoother than a lot of drivers that we've seen so far that we would deem quick, but just could not seem to keep the car under control and crashed. And she's definitely not doing that. She's cutting very, very smooth laps. Very nice. Oh! Just avoids the wall there. Dana Sure.
And 43.6.
Nice. 0.3 faster than the previous lap. 206.422. The average speed to this point, 205.552. And she's gone up 2 places. She's now trending 13th. Into turn number 3. Nice smooth arcs the whole way. She's driving very, very cleanly, very smoothly. Very nice to see. Coming out of turn number 4, takes it right to the wall. A little bit of a twitch there, but nothing too serious. Heads up to the front stretch, crosses the line. Lap 3 is in the books for Dana Schurer.
And she enters the top 10 for this one.
Wow, very nice. 43.671. And now she's in the top 10, yes. 206.086. Her average so far, 205.730. She is on target to be 10th on the grid right now, which is a very respectable starting place, considering that she hasn't had much time in this car. I'm sure that she'll be a definite threat on next Sunday when we run the 500. She knows how to run 500-mile races. Coming out of turn number 4, heading down the front straightaway for the last time in this session, checkered flag is out for Dana Schurer, and she completes her run, 43.605, her best lap, and that slots her in 7th. The overall lap speed average for 4 laps, 205.897. Great run. All right. So now we've gone through everybody once, pretty much.
No.
Except for people who either no-showed or crashed. There's still some.
Yeah. So he's got 2 no-shows. Wilkes now, who's clearly showing because the car's moving, and then it would be Brian Janik, who's also on the server this time.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, we don't want to. It would definitely make things a lot easier if everybody had times. So for that one time that we have where it's duplicated times, we're just going to give preference to the person who set the time first.
Well, I'm still trying to Google whatever happens when there is a tie. So bear with me. I'll try to find out.
I suppose we could do runoffs. we can have another one and just delete them both and just make them both go again, but they may not even be on the server. So I don't know if that's necessary.
No, I'm sure there's a way somewhere. Oh God.
You could find out, because you could go to further decimals and see if you can find the difference.
I've tried. I don't have the further decimals. Otherwise, I'd have.
Right. Well, Wilkes looks pretty smooth so far.
Well, in 1995, the tiebreaker might involve rerunning the final qualifying session. No, we're not going to do that.
No, we can't do that because they're not here.
Oh, God.
Do we flip a coin? If all else fails, we can just say, hey, you know what? Okay, that was lap 1 complete, right, for Wilkes?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I nearly forgot that.
That's all right.
40. Well, technically, you can see who set the fastest lap out of both of them.
Yeah, we could say whoever set the fastest lap out of the group.
Yeah. If I could remember where they were. I don't know.
Well, let's focus on this. We can always figure that out at the end. 43.599 was the first lap. 2:06.427 second lap.
43.440.
43.440. 2:07.182 miles per hour. The average so far for Wilkes is 2:06.804, and he's trending 5th. This is another one of these Brabham Honda engines, and he's going pretty quick with it. His teammate Schlapinski is already qualified.
And to break our tie, the fastest opening lap was Sabre. The fastest lap out of all of them was also Sabre.
All right,
and he was also the first to set the time. So whatever we want to do, I'll hand it to Sabre.
All right, let's give it to Sabre then. I think people would agree that that's as fair enough as any. I would think just the fact they did it at first. 43.434 for the third lap for Wilkes, and that's 2:07.221 or 2:11. His average at this point is 2:06.939. He's trending 5th still. Here he comes, ready to finish his qualifying.
So we'll see a Brabham engined car in the top. Well, another Brabham engined car, should I say?
Interesting. 2 Brabham engine cars in the top 5, and that is Wilkes.
They'll line up 2nd and 4th currently.
All right, 4th place,
good.
And that 4-lap average comes in at 2:07.108 for Wilkes.
If we'd have 3 car wide grids, they'd be on row 1 and 2.
Yeah, but we can't.
Technically they're still on row 1 and 2 because they're 2nd and 4th, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. All right, so
Brian Janik. Let's see. In Tom Sneever's car.
Yes,
Brian,
Tom Sneever.
set pole in 2023 when we ran last run this month.
I think he set pole twice, actually. Let me look back at the past winners here. Yeah, Brian Janik set pole in 2020, driving the 1974 mod, and then he set pole again in 1987 mod for 2023. So
and I think he did it in my car, which, well, would be nice, but I'm definitely not expecting that one.
So pole set twice by Brian Janik, but no wins so far in the 500, although he is very capable of doing so. Driving the Skull Bandit.
Hey.
Oof. Tom Sneva had a pretty lackluster month in 1987. He had a turn 2 crash on lap 143. And as you saw in the archival film, he had 2 practice accidents before finally qualifying 21st or 22nd, wherever he was, and then finishing 14th DNF. So not the greatest of months for Sneva. Here comes Brian. What does his time and speed report tell us?
That's a very good one.
Oh, that's a great start. 2:06.935. 2:06.935. The average speed for the first lap for Brian Janik as he heads up the back straightaway in his Skull Bandit curb racing March 87C with a Cosworth. Hits the line, lap number 2, comes into the books at 43.447, 2:07.149. His average speed
That
at this point.
in one place. That drops in one place.
One place. His average so far is 2:07.149.
1 lap to go after this.
Yep, hitting the line one more time is Brian Janik. Let's see what he's got. 43.429.
He reclaims 4th.
Yep. 43.429. 207.235. His average to this point. Man, he really attacks turn 3 there. On his final lap, fourth lap for Brian Janik. Comes off the corner. Oh! Strikes the wall.
I don't think that's warranted for a wave off.
No, you could drag it home.
Oh, yeah. And claims 4th.
Wow, 43.188 is best lap. 208.9 or 391 his average for the 4 laps. 207.426, and that will slot him in 4th. Okay, 3 cars left to run.
Yes, technically we should have a break now because there's only 3 left. I'll just go.
We're just going to skip the break, and we've got everybody online that we need, so we may as well just go for it. All right, so we're gonna power through this and
that'll be me now then. So I'll just sort the grid out before.
Do you want me to enter the times, or somebody else? Can
well, that would be nice.
Okay, let me.
Whatever suits you.
No, I can enter the times because I can see them on my.
Yeah, well, I'm
here.
gonna make sure to watch them. There we go.
You're gonna want to mute your, or do you want me to just not talk?
No, you can talk. I'm gonna mute.
All right, good.
I'm just gonna make sure I've got the broadcast sheet not open next to me. And I haven't driven the car for 3.5 hours, so I'm probably the coldest driver out there.
So this is a unique situation. Juha is calling himself to the track.
Well,
all right, so Juha heading through Gasoline Alley here. There he is in his Coyote orange and black Lola Cosworth. In real life, driven by the grand champion AJ Foyt. And here's Juha coming on to the track. Warming those rear tires, heading onto the circuit. Juha's done a great job for us with the timesheets, so we know what's going on. And let's see how he's able to do starting this qualifying run. Heading up the back straightaway is Juha Boss. Number 14, AJ Foyt colors. He's going to be taking the green flag as he comes around. And car number 14, AJ Foyt, didn't do all that well in the actual race. Started 4th, but finished 19th DNF because he had an oil seal problem on lap 117. He crashed the week leading up to the race. He was aged 52 at the time. He had better races later on, though. I think in 90 he had an excellent race. So, Juha is now in his qualifying run. You can see the time ticking away in the corner there. And I'm going to be entering the times for him, since he's busy with doing other things. Coming through turn number 4 now, heading onto the main straight. And let's see what the first time and speed report says for Juha Boss. Crosses a line, 43.628. .206.290 miles per hour. That's good enough for 8th. A good opening lap as he heads down the back straightaway, looking smooth in that Lola. Car looks like it's behaving well, considering the fact that Juha... Oh, and he hits the wall and loses the back end. Oh, goodness, it's a crash. Juha's going to have to try it again. Yep, unfortunate. But you look good to start with.
Yeah, it was the out of understeer, mid corner, and that killed it. Oops. I think that was a good opening lap, but damn.
Oh well. All right. So
Just noticed that would have put me eighth. That's quite annoying. Oh, well. At least I get to try again in 10 minutes.
Yep. And now here is the final chance for Ruben Fernandez. Hopefully he doesn't crash this time. Let's see.
Well, if he does, he'll be back at the grid again.
I know, but where is he? Is he heading out yet or no?
I've told him to go to track. Well, he's not.
There he is. He's sitting in the garage area at the moment.
Maybe he's.
Maybe he stepped away from the computer.
Yeah, it could be. Ah, I hear movement. Yeah.
All right, there he goes. So this is the third and final attempt. Oh my goodness, he's already flirting with the line. And he's touched the wall. That's not good. He's got to complete this run. So the question now is the car already damaged? Is already bent? I hope not. Comes out of turn 4. Looks okay. Let's see if he can put together 4 laps here.
Ooh, well, that looked like an aggressive turn in. Yeah. No!
Oh my goodness!
No. Yeah, well.
My goodness.
Each to his own. Well, he's trying. Don't think he wants to do that again, but.
Man, oh man.
Woohoo! That looks like a wild ride.
Yeah, he's having a wild time out there. That's for sure. Heads out of turn 4. He is well in control. Let's see what the first lap brings on the third and final attempt for Ruben Fernandez. 43.721. 205.851. That's good enough for 11th at the moment. Into the third turn now, into the North Chute. He's definitely, he looked squirrely early on, but he's looking a little bit calmer now.
Yeah, this looks like a solid lap. I'll get the. Ooh, yeah, I thought he was gonna push it in.
He had a decent amount of space there.
Yeah, and it looks like another 43. Yes, 5.6. Oh, it's good.
That moves on to 10th.
Typo. Yeah, still 10th, but
yeah, 43, 563, 206, 597, and that puts his average so far at 206, 223. He's trending 10th. Coming for the line now, completing lap number 3. Ruben, he's got one more to go.
Oh, yeah, moves up to the 7th.
Okay, he's looking good. 206.911 miles per hour. The average to this point is 206.452.
Looking good.
Here he comes to complete lap 4. I think he's okay now. There he goes. He crosses the line, gets into the race.
Yeah, drops down one place, but I think he can be quite happy with that.
Yeah, now he can rest easy. 4:43, 5:01, 2:06, 892. The average to this point is 2:06, 5:62, and he slots in 8th. All right.
Second attempt for the stock block.
Here he comes.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yep.
Or a Kentucky Fried Stock Block.
Well, we hope it's not a Kentucky Fried Stock Block on race day for him. Onto the back straightaway. So he waved off. He's the only person to wave off in this session so far, or in this qualifying day. He hasn't. I forget. He competed like 2 or 3 laps, and he was like, "No, I know I can do better," and he pulled in. So now he's going to try it again. Ian won the last IndyCar race at Toronto, driving in place of Grant Riddall, I believe.
Considering the timing, I would have waved off if my run wasn't good, because I knew I could easily
be
slot
third.
it again.
So the run is not underway, but he was going to be third with that run.
Yeah, he's clearly aiming for something.
Well, getting a stock block on the pole at Indy is always an interesting prospect. It's happened before. It's surprising because even though these are passenger car motors, they are given more boost, and they can sometimes spring a surprise. They certainly sprung a surprise in 1985 when Carter and Brayton put their Buick-powered cars in the pole. But of course, Brayton finished 30. Brayton didn't finish, I don't believe, and neither did Carter. Carter was 33rd. He was out within 5 laps. 43.268. That's trending second. 208.006. So he was right. He could go faster.
Definitely.
So the question now is, can he improve that between now and the end of this run and perhaps challenge for the pole? The pole speed set by our good friend Tiago Canola is 2:08.389.
I am curious, would this be a 42? No.
43.177. 208.444. The average speed 208.225. He's still trending second.
Yes, but he's faster than Canola was at this point.
Oh, that's interesting. So he could still take pole position here. High drama in time trials here. Can the Kentucky Fried Chicken mount of Ian Mills pip Tiago Canola for the pole here? Second to the last run of the day. He heads into turn 4. He's looking smooth, looking fast. Heading down the main straightaway. Completing lap 3. Is he going to crack the 42s? No. 43.136. 208.642 for that lap. His average is 208.364. This last lap is going to do it. He's either
Canola was at 207.9 after lap 3.
So he's trending. He could very well be the pole sitter at the end of this lap. The car that we were expecting would contend for the pole. It's living up to advanced billing in the hands of Ian Mills coming off.
And look how precise he is, just inches off the wall. That car does not move. That just perfect.
Coming off of the line. And what do we have?
A pole
sitter. He does it! 43.084, 208.894. The average for the 4 laps, 208.496. And Ian Mills is on the pole.
Yeah, the race, American road belongs to Buick.
Wow. Fantastic run.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken.
I think all the shame having it pass after that one.
Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic run by Ian Mills.
Yes.
He is our pole sitter.
Was nailed. No. We've only got one attempt left. Well, technically 2 attempts.
You have 2 attempts left.
Yes. I can wave off.
If you want to, yeah. All right, give me a second.
Well, if I don't like it, I can wave off. Well, the nice thing is, if I just leave you on speaker, I can just hear where I am.
Yeah, but what if I get super excited to distract you? That would.
Yeah, I'll press the, well, then I'll wave off. Let's see. I've got a setup. Oh, see how it goes.
All right, here goes Juha once again. This is attempt number 2. Juha's going to go for another burnout here. And assuming that Juha takes this will be the last run of the day. On it into turn number 1, looking really good. Smooth. This is the final run, or should be, assuming that Juha does not crash or wave off. There he is in the classic number 14 of AJ Foyt. Heading into turn number 3. Up the front straightaway now, and let's take a look at what his first time gives us. 43.624. .308 miles per hour. That's trending 9th. So a little bit faster than what he started with before. Okay, lap number 2 going to come in here. 43.486. .963 miles per hour. The average speed to this point, 206.635, and it's trending 9th still. Time 43.668. .206.457 miles per hour is the 3-lap average so far. That last lap was 206.101. He's on his final lap.
And what does that put me?
Puts you 8th.
Oh, good enough.
As he comes through turn number 4 now. The last turn of the last run of the day. Juha Boss, driving for AJ Foyt, hits the line in a few seconds here. What is it going to say? 43.583. .503 miles per hour. The average for the 4 laps, 206.468, and that slots him in 10th.
Ouch. Oh well. Was hoping for slightly better, but I think the track was too hot to make.
Yeah, I think that was the problem for a lot of us. So there you go. I believe that's the last run.
I decided I'll finish it instead of crashing.
All right, so time trials for 2025 ISO Indy 500 are complete, and the pole sitter is Ian Mills in his Kentucky Fried Chicken March Buick, which is what we thought might happen, but we weren't quite sure. And Canola put on an excellent performance too. He's going to be starting second, I believe. So race day is going to be very, very interesting, with a stock block on the pole once again in Indianapolis. So we thank very much Juha for all of his efforts in doing the timesheets. It takes a lot of concentration, and obviously it's very hard to switch over from doing that to driving and then back to that again. So thank you very much, Juha, for your hard work with the timesheet. Every year you make this event fun and interesting because of the speed with which we're able to get the results. If we didn't have that, it just wouldn't be the same thing, and we really appreciate your efforts a lot. Also, I would like to thank Richard Wilkes for his continual work with the 1987 mod, giving it every little tweak that he can along the way to make not only make the mod more realistic, but also make it more fun to drive, more easier to enjoy for our members. He actually smoothed out some of the power delivery recently, probably just to try to make the car a little bit simpler to drive, or smoother to drive. But he's always improving things. We thank him for his efforts. So once we get a provisional grid here, I can read it off.
We have a provisional grid that's already.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so our reason for putting David Saber ahead is going to be simply that he set that time ahead. I mean, that's a good enough. That's as good enough a reason, as far as I'm concerned. What do you think?
No, well, the quickest lap, single lap, was also his.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fair point.
Fastest single lap between the two was his.
Yes.
All right, so I'll use that as the rationale. All right, so here we go. On the pole for our 1987 Indianapolis 500, Ian Mills for Hemmelgarn Racing with the March 87C Buick with a speed of 208.496 miles per hour. In second place is Tiago Canola with a speed of 208.389 miles per hour in his Hardee's Machinist Union Racing March Cosworth. In third, Cesarius Lipinski for Gallus Racing, 208.339. Fourth is Anders Nilsson at 208.119. Brian Janik is fifth at 207.426. Richard Wilkes comes in at 8th, I believe, 207.108. Giovanni Centorami is 9th. Or wait, hang on. Did I skip ahead here? Yeah, I think I did.
I think you skipped something, yes.
Yeah, I did. Okay, I'll go back. Ian Mills is... Okay, first is Ian Mills. I'm tired. I'm sorry. 208.496. Second is Tiago Canola, 208.389. Third is Cesarius Lipinski, 208.339 miles per hour. Fourth is Anders Nilsson, 208.119. Fifth is Brian Janik at 207.426. Sixth, there we go, is Richard Wilkes with a speed of 207.108. Seventh is Giovanni Centorami, 206.894. Eighth is John Team, 206.606. 9th, Ruben Fernandez on his third attempt, 206.562. And rounding out the top 10 is Juha Boss, 206.468. So here's the rest of the grid. Starting at 11th is August Watering, 12th, Dana Scherer, 13th, Nicholas Kirsten, 14th, Rob DeBreeze, 15th, yours truly, 16th, David Saber, 17th, Alberto Quino, 18th, David Watman, 19th, Jakob Fredriksson, 20th is going to be, well, qualified 20th is Dave Miller, but that's going to be Oscar's car at the end of the grid. The next car is 22nd, number 22 car of Ray Radal, then Grant Radal, Filippo Marazzi, Ryan Walker, Jules Bouchard, Mikael Drexler, Simone Gilardini, Eric Morin, and Simon Watman in the car that actually won the race in 1987 lined up last on the grid. So we're going to transfer this to a race thread and put it in the forum in a short amount of time. We ask that everybody who is going to confirm for the race, please do so on the forum, and we will change your name green on the grid, and that will confirm for us that you're going to be there. Don't forget that we're also going to have a Saturday practice race. It's our carburation day. We do a practice race. It's not mandatory to attend, but we encourage everybody to attend because it will give you a chance to try your race setup in the car in traffic before race day and hopefully avoid any problems that you'll have. So that is that. Thanks so much, Juha, for a stellar job.
Thank you.
And we thank everybody for watching. We thank our drivers, and we're looking forward to having a fantastic Indianapolis 500 coming up. Don't forget, I've got another trivia question I can do here. Let's see. What about this one? Who was the fastest female driver in IndyCar history, or qualifier? Was it Simona Di Silvestro, Catherine Legg, or was it Pippa Mann? ABC.
I have no idea. I'll go for B.
You go for Catherine Legg?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to let the time run here for everybody. Time is up, and you are correct.
Woohoo!
The answer is Catherine Legg. Now, I don't think we gave the answer to another trivia question we asked. Yeah, this one. Which driver won the fastest Indy 500 in history? Was it Newgarden, A, Kanaan, B, or is it C, Castroneves? What do you think?
Castroneves.
Yeah? You're correct. It was Castroneves. 190.690 miles per hour in 2021. All right. So I think we can close out the broadcast now. Thanks again, Juha. Thanks to our drivers, and thank you for everybody watching. This is Jason White saying so long. Remember, we will see you next Sunday for our Indianapolis 500. It starts at 1900 CEST. 6th round of our kart series, Sunday, May 11th. Tune in. It should be a lot of fun. And we've got 29 people who are going to give it their best shot to take home the title of Indy 500 champion and drink the milk. So for all of us at ISO, this is Jason White saying so long. Thanks for joining us. Take care and be safe.